fantastic on my end, and I do hope they're looking fantastic on yours. I'm with CT Muga in the studio. CT, how are you doing, bro?
Very well.
You look overly excited this morning. What's up? Ni nani amekupigia simu? Umepokea pesa kwenye mtandao ama vipi?
Hakuna kitu kama hicho. Elioko ni. You know the
naomba utumie hicho kidude kikombele yako.
Inasaidia. Wanisikia sasa?
Na kusikia vyema sasa.
Vizuri.
Na kabisa.
Okay. Life has many twists and turns.
Oh yes, it does.
And some of those twists and turns are interesting.
Oh yes, they are.
So every once in a while, you're reminded of something, and that's what causes the mirth. Because the thing in and of itself is actually not funny.
Okay.
But when you reminisce on it, you wonder at how absolutely ludicrous it was. That's where the mirth is saying, my goodness gracious me. And at the time I couldn't see this, but now I do.
Now you do.
Yes,
Okay. How was your evening?
Good actually.
Yes. Jana nilikuwa na haraka fulani. So I didn't get time to catch up with you after the show.
Jana uliniambia kuna mahali ulikuwa unatakikana.
Sasa shughuli 1212.
Ulitimiza hiyo ahadi.
Nilitimiza. Nikienda nyumbani vizuri. Baada ya kumaliza shughuli zangu, and everything was okay.
Okay.
Yes,
my day was good.
Anything significant? Anything like I don't know, something that you think that we should know?
Well, I do not inhabit that space of social media as much as I should.
Right.
But the few times I foray into it, the thing that fascinated me yesterday, and I was marveling about it, is that this is a country where everybody has an opinion and they wish to express it.
Oh yes, for sure.
And it's not just the politician. The politician is louder, but everybody has an opinion. Now, why do I say this as something that made me, gave me an opportunity to ponder? It's this. The political season in this country comes with a certain degree of madness.
Right.
Everybody has something they want to say. Who they like, who they don't like, who they have a problem with, and they never say why.
Yeah.
And they are speaking and speaking and speaking and speaking, and everybody wants to talk about the problems. And I noticed very few people are telling you what the solutions are. In fact, I cannot recall anybody who has told me what the solution is. And you know what is strange? The solutions that people prefer on the political scene is either Raila should go back to Bondo, that's a solution. Ruto should go to Sugoi, that's a solution. And I'm thinking, but you'll get a new president, and within the space of a year or 2 years, you'll be saying the same thing.
Well, that is part of their solution. It's like when you're bleeding, you stop the bleeding first before you get to the root cause of the bleed. So was it a cut? Was it did someone punch you so hard that you had an internal bleed? So sometimes for them it's let's stop the bleeding, then figure out what happened for you to actually bleed. Unfortunately for us, we prefer stopping the bleeding and then life moves on. We don't find out the root cause of the bleed. Kumeacha kutoa damu, kuvuja damu, sawa, tuendelee.
Until the next time.
Then you realize by then that blood is back again. Then you stop the bleeding again. Then you realize after a few months, weeks, years later, it's still bleeding. So by the time you decide to get to the root cause, my friend, you've lost a lot of blood and you're probably on your deathbed. Speaking of deathbed, yesterday first of all, during the weekend I was very busy because remember nikwambia nilikuwa mashinani mahali. Nilienda harusi ushago. Then by the time nilikuwa na recover back to Nairobi, life ilikuwa imeendelea sana. So there's a young artist, not really young but he is young, called Shalkido. Shalkido ni msanii wa mziki wa gengetone. I'm sure you know what gengetone is, and if you do not,
I've heard of gengetone.
Okay.
I'm never certain what it actually is.
Ni mziki wa kizazi kipya.
I know it is music,
right?
But what differentiates it from hip hop, from house, and all this?
It's actually a form of hip hop. Kenyan version, of course, where the musicians really
mention an artist who sings gengetone.
Okay, so apart from Shalkido, kuna Matata. Why are you looking at me like that? Kuna jamaa anaitwa Reckless from a group called Ethic. So these are people chances are you wouldn't know.
No.
Yeah.
That actually is not true. I don't know. It's not chances.
Okay.
I have no clue.
You don't know.
I'm hearing about these people for the first time.
But you've actually come across their music. It's just that you didn't recognize it as what I'm calling it right now. Yes. So, Shalkido, young artist, lost his life yesterday.
Because, dear.
Yeah. So over the weekend...
Oh, dear. What happened?
Over the weekend, he was involved in an accident.
Oh, dear, again.
Now, let me give you a backstory, Kidogo, again. A few weeks ago, he came out and asked the public...
This is Shalkido.
Shalkido, yes. I actually don't know his government names.
It's all right.
So his
government name.
Yeah, his government names. Zenyali ziko kwa ID yake. So
those are government names.
Yeah.
Those are his names, man.
Right.
The Shalkido is his stage name.
Right.
Okay. What happened?
So a few weeks ago he came out and asked the public to help because maisha ilikuwa kumkalia ngumu. Aliacha kufanya muziki, and then the music that he already has produced with his team unfortunately has not been generating the revenue that he needed. And a lot of Kenyans came out in support,
really?
Including celebrities. Yes. Eric Omondi is one person who came out to help him. Obina, another person who came out to help him.
There's a show called Obina Show.
Yes.
That Obina.
Tell me you know Obina.
No, I don't know Obina.
Okay.
I've heard of the show.
Hapa nitakuexplain vitu mingi.
No.
But yes.
I have heard.
Obina is a former radio and TV presenter, but now he's a YouTuber.
Okay, let me explain. I know the name. I know he's a media personality.
Yes.
I don't know what he looks like.
Okay. I'll show you pictures.
Yes.
So Obina and Eric Omondi, the comedian.
Eric Omondi I have met.
Yeah, actually both of them are comedians. Then there's another YouTuber called Commentator. Walitokezea na wengine wengi, ni venye siwezi wataja wote na siwezi wakumbuka wote anyway. Wakamsaidia. For instance, Eric Omondi set him up with because Shalkido said that kinunuliwa nduthi pikipiki, he will go to the roads, do his boda thing, make something for his family. And then Obina supported him in many other ways. And also Commentator again also went to visit him in his home in Matu, kampelekea shopping pale na pale, wakaongea, at least jamaa akaweza kufunguka, na ndio maana story yake ilienea venye ilienea. So anyway, over the weekend he had an accident with that motorbike that he was gifted by Eric Omondi and his team a couple of days ago. And now as of yesterday, when I was watching the news, he was declared brain dead by doctors, and I was watching his family, give that statement, and we all know what brain dead means. At the end of the day, when you're brain dead, there is usually no recovery. Actually, there is no known case of someone who recovered from brain death. So the young man is gone. That's just an update that I found yesterday, and I thought maybe.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
The circumstances of the accident, what actually happened?
It was a hit and run, so the details are scanty as to
somebody hit him
and took off.
There were no witnesses.
Again,
or we don't know yet.
For me, details are scanty also because Ojani nimezitoa from very many sources. Yeah, but what is actually definite and factual is that it was a hit and run. No one has been arrested or no one has come out to actually claim responsibility for that. So that's that. I'm actually sad for his family. He has a very young family, young wife, young child. And so some of the things that just make me wonder and first of all, appreciate life, number one. Then number two, just think deep and hard about the blessings that I have, the circumstances that I am in as compared to others. And it's just one of those situations you just say, give thanks to God every single day, especially if you're a believer like myself. Yeah, so may his soul rest in peace. Moving on to events that are significant this particular day, October 7th. So in 1582, the Gregorian calendar reform led to October 7th being skipped in countries like Italy, Poland, Portugal, and Spain, which advanced the calendar by 10 days.
Let me repeat that thing.
In 1582, the Gregorian calendar reform led to October 7th being skipped in countries like Italy, Poland, Portugal, and Spain, which advanced the calendar by 10 days. Why would they skip today? Yeah, so the Gregorian calendar reform. I'm telling you. Vitu tulipatiwa na wazungu. In Africa, how did we tell days apart from, the fact that the sun rose and went down? We were waiting for seasons. I do not know how our ancestors did it.
Oh, that was not difficult to understand.
And I'm talking about specifically in Africa.
I am referring to Africa.
Okay.
Remember, when you hear of things like the Gregorian form or format,
yes,
what you're not being told is that those human beings had learned to document their findings, and they had started involving themselves into research, understanding. I'm leading to what we used to do.
Yes.
We understood seasons, and there were markers and indicators of the seasons. As for the time, the sun was a clear indicator of the time.
Yes.
Because we are on the equator, we are in the tropics, there were certainties that we had. We hadn't gone and essentially massacred all the ecological features that we have, courtesy of the West. Our animals were where they are. We killed for purposes of sustenance and food, not for sport, or for security. So we knew. When birds started flying in a certain direction, you knew what was coming next. It was either the sun, not setting.
Yeah.
The sun was probably going to have a longer setting that is earlier on in the year. So it would be 7 o'clock and it's still daylight.
Yes.
Or an early evening. We understood this.
Or early morning.
Yes. We also understood when it was going to rain.
Yeah.
I still remember my grandmother. She could actually look up and say, that wind that has just blown, it is going to rain.
She could smell the rain.
Actually, you can. Actually, you can.
Yep.
If your senses are tuned, even you can tell, it's going to rain. Without even looking at the sky. Okay?
You can tell the wind direction.
Yes.
Then you can just smell it.
For her, it was a smell. But also, in those days, part of their medication, they would have incisions on their bodies. Yes, where the herbs would be put on. They understood that if you had an injury and there were incisions and you had a herb, either it was boiled or something, and you put on it, it would enter the bloodstream. They understood it. Now, what then happened? There would be a scab. So they tended to have many scabs on the body.
Yes.
So when the scabs began to itch, my grandmother would say, it's going to rain.
So it's like you could feel the change of climate through.
That is precisely it. Your body was sensitive to certain things.
Okay.
So they knew. They knew seasons when you'd see snakes in abundance. They knew seasons when you'd... all manner of things, meaning they understood their time with the seasons, with the environment in which they lived in. That's how they told. And it worked for them.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Actually, I remember some of those things from geography, or was it history? I don't remember. Something. I remember we were taught how people would tell seasons, even the position of the sun during certain times of the year.
Yes.
Because sometimes it would set, maybe in January, and this is of course random. January, it would set on this side. But maybe sometime in July, it is setting on this other side. By then mvua inakuja.
Let me just mention something, since you mentioned the Gregorian calendar reform.
Yep.
It was actually a change that was instituted by Pope Gregory the 8th.
Hence why it's called
Gregorian. 13th, actually, not the 8th. It's been X is 10.
Right.
And then 1, that's 13. Okay?
Yeah.
In 1582. All right?
Yeah.
Now, he was correcting an error, apparently, in calculation in what had been a previous calendar.
Yes.
It was called the Julian calendar, which had been in use since 45 BC.
Okay, Angai.
Yes.
Actually, if you're interested in knowing more about the Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar, and why we have 365 and a quarter days in that calendar, why don't you go check? There's a scientist, he's an astrophysicist. He's called Neil deGrasse Tyson. Amazing brains. Just go, just search Neil deGrasse Tyson 365 days. And you will see the video that will come up. It's a short video, probably about 10 or so minutes. You can actually watch, and the insights in how they came up with the days and why we even have leap years, my friend.
Yes, every year divisible by 4.
Right.
The 4th year, the year.
Yep. So utaweza kuelewa kwa nini. Tupatie methali tafadhali, bamkubwa. Tupatie methali kabla tuingie katika rgk.co.ke.
Right, we are still in
Cape Verde.
Ile Cape ile. Ile Verde ile.
Cape Verde wasemaje?
a big head is a big load.
Why would they say that though? A big head is a big load.
Yes.
Ni kumaanisha kichwa chako kiwa kikubwa ni mzigo.
Yes.
Is that a bad thing? Because I feel like they're making it sound like it's a bad thing.
No, they are making it sound like it's a bad thing, but it isn't.
What do they mean, these Capverdians?
I wish I knew, my man.
All right.
What I do know.
Figure it out, yeah.
What I do know is this. Proverbs that seem very cryptic are purposed to make you think. Okay? The person with a big head doesn't consider the head big. It's just his head.
And it's proportional to the rest of the body.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes it is not. But it is just their head.
And your body can carry it.
No, the body can carry it very well. It's like the elephant and the tusks.
Yes.
You don't see the elephant complaining, or the trunk. Hey, that trunk is long. The elephant doesn't complain.
Hachoki yako tu sawa.
No, it's like human beings saying, this animal has 4 legs, you have 2. Do you complain? No. It serves the purpose for which it was intended. Yes.
Okay.
So what they could be trying to say is this. There are things you think are a problem and yet they're not.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. rgk.co.ke. That's where we're live, folks. You can check us out also on our YouTube channel, Radio Generation Kenya. Also on YouTube, we're live by the way, on not just YouTube, but Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is Radio Generation Kenya. Sorry, why don't you check us out there? We are live on our Twitter, on our X. I mean, they eat Twitter till the end of time. On our X account, we're also live. That is at Radio Gen KE. Why don't you get to watch us there? Right now, though, let's see what rgk.co.ke inasema. Hapa tuko na KMPDU accuses governors of negligence after alleged 131 newborn deaths in Kiambu. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union has demanded a public apology from the Council of Governors and urged President William Ruto to dissolve the Kiambu County government following the deaths of 131 newborns during the ongoing doctor strike. The union's response came after Council of Governors Chair Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi on Monday dismissed reports of neonatal deaths in Kiambu as misleading and based on unverified information. Abdullahi insisted that medical facilities in the county were running normally, claiming that some individuals were using the report to attack devolution and undermine county health systems.
Wait a moment, have the doctors gone back to work in Kiambu County?
No, they haven't.
Yes.
Because
so how then does he say that they're functioning normally?
And I wish we could get a hold of him. I honestly wish.
They may be functioning, but they are functioning abnormally.
Yeah. Devoid of doctors.
They can run. Sometimes they can't. But in the event of emergency, you will have a problem.
Yeah.
There are situations where you actually do need a medical doctor. Yes. The other professionals within the health sphere, whether they're clinical officers, whether they're nurses of whatever cadre.
Yeah.
These health professionals understand their work, and there's a lot that they do. In fact, in reality, the running of health facilities is by this cadre of individuals. You're talking about the lab technologists, all these people who work within a health facility. So long as it will run.
Yeah.
But then you have to understand that doctors exist because there are functions that they can perform that these other cadre of health specialists cannot perform.
We have clinical officers, we have nurses, yeah? And for instance, every time you go to a hospital and you receive an injection, it is actually a nurse who administers that injection. So if nurses go on strike, doctors will have a very huge problem as far as administering that case.
The actual health care in a facility is by nurses. The actual taking care of the patient.
Yes.
Yes. Doctors tend to be
consultants.
Okay? You consult. But the day-to-day care, nurses.
I remember a time I went to hospital. I was taking my brother to hospital. And we saw the doctor, Kesha, then we went to the pharmacy for the medicine. And the pharmacist looked at the prescription and he actually called the doctor back and told daktari hapa kuna dawa naona umepeana.
He does if he did.
Yeah. if I consider the age of the patient, his weight, this medicine is actually gonna be bad news. And the doctor came back and he was like, "You're actually right." And they had to change the prescription. And I asked myself, had it not been for this, pharmacist, kungendaje?
Had they not been the process, the doctor is an expert.
Yeah. In treating.
The pharmacist is an expert in connecting whatever brought you there with the treatment, the actual treatment, which is in the form of medicine that you're supposed to ingest or take into your body. So he was using his expertise.
Yes.
He took a look and said, this one,
kidogo tricky.
Kabisa tricky, not kidogo. Ini kabisa tricky. We change. Yes.
So, I was just, supporting your claim, saying that indeed everybody in the hospital has got their own function.
Yes, they do.
And
yes,
they actually have very critical functions.
They are not adjuncts to the doctors. They are all health specialists.
Yeah.
And you must understand their area of specialization. Yes.
So, going back to this situation where the governors are claiming that, this is a misrepresentation, misleading
is
information.
It now? Is it now?
I want us to focus on 131 newborns dead, 131 souls, 131 parents, mothers. If we double that number, we are talking about mothers and fathers. People who actually have been affected directly.
When you have a strike, people die.
These ones we're talking about 131
yes,
of them.
People die. Now, the figures I cannot speak about because all I did was read them like everybody else.
Yeah.
But the question is somebody countering those figures by giving us the actual status of the hospitals in Kiambu County? Because making a statement such as the one that you have read, it's a statement. For me to understand that they're not just negating what was reported, but they're actually reporting facts.
Yeah.
Data would be useful, isn't it?
And especially for the Council of Governors chair, Governor Ahmed Abdullahi, I wish he would have come out and say, okay, there are reports that, it's 131 newborns dead, but the actual figure is X.
Or better still, challenge the person who got the information and say, could you please just furnish us with the information, the details of which health facility
has lost
yes,
what number?
Exactly. So that one can actually
we can verify. Yeah.
That's it. But
so
that isn't what's coming out.
So
yes.
we can know Kiambu General 2.
Yes.
Or 8, whatever, 3.
Yeah.
X, they lost 4.
Gatundu level 4 or 5, yes. Whatever level it is.
5.
Yes.
Yes. Because
and so forth. Because, Kiambu County is big.
It's huge, yes.
Because you'll have to go into Thika. Border of Thika and Muranga Gatanga. Then you go around. Whenever you're on your way to Naivasha, there's this flyover. There's a soko called Soko Mjinga. Okay? You're more or less on the border of Nyandarua and again Kiambu County. Limuru. All those areas, it's huge. So which health facilities are you referring to? Because within Kiambu County, there are also faith-based health facilities. There are also private facilities that fall under RUFA. Which ones are you referring to? Because the strike, I believe, was in the public facilities.
Oh, yes, okay? For sure.
So, detailed information of that sort gives you the opportunity to do what you said. You can verify. And when you can verify, then you know that you're dealing with the facts. But to make a blanket statement, simply saying, it did not happen. We don't, no. And again, no.
If indeed it, this 131 newborns did pass away and the Council of Governors is downplaying it, in other countries, people resign.
Oh, in other countries, my friend, your job has ended. Gone.
Because you just can't dismiss what families are going through.
Again.
And we're just talking about newborns. We've not been told if any adults have died. I hope none have died. We've not been told of other situations that probably have escalated because of this particular strike. We're talking about cancer. We're talking about diabetes, missed diagnosis for various diseases. Like the ripple effect of this strike alone is if we actually sit down and we just document what has happened because of this strike, bro, unaweza kasirika.
Every time there is a strike by a group of medical professionals and specialists, people die. Always. Because at a certain point in time, there's a service that needed to have been provided by that person, and they're on strike. If this person's condition, the one who went to seek help, is actually adverse, then the chances of their dying are very high.
Yeah.
And deaths have been reported every time, whether it is the clinical officers who've gone on strike, whether it is the nurses who've gone on strike, whether it's the doctors who've gone on strike. We have always reported deaths. These have never been challenged. Now, these numbers are huge, but then the length of time these doctors have been on strike is also long, is it not?
It is very long.
Yes. So, a little verification, Chair, please, would be useful.
Yeah.
So that when we have this discussion about what you've said, we can verify, because we will then, when we then report, we know we'll be dealing with the facts. It's not complicated.
Several times, members of KMPDU who've come to this studio have always told us that, devolution of medical services was a mistake. And I am actually inclined to agree with them.
I also agree with them.
Yep.
I've been of that view from the very beginning. There are certain services you do not devolve. And if you do, you devolve after much thought, and you tell us the process of cascading it and how it is we're going to deal with it moving forward. Because when it was under the national government, the one thing you knew, the national government had the ability and the wherewithal to ensure that doctors would be posted where they're most needed. Okay?
Okay.
This particular service should never have been devolved.
Outcry as families push for release of Kenyan activists missing in Uganda. Concerns are mounting in Kenya after 2 human rights defenders went missing in Uganda last week, with families and rights groups warning that their continued disappearance could escalate regional tensions. The activists Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo have been unaccounted for 6 days, prompting urgent calls for diplomatic intervention and immediate clarification from Ugandan authorities. Folks, no one knows their location. No one knows where how exactly they disappeared. They just stopped communicating while in Uganda.
What took them to Uganda, by the way?
They had gone to support Bobby Wine. Okay.
May I then suggest that perhaps we ask Bobby Wine where they are?
Bobby Wine amekuwa akisema ati atasaidia, anaendelea kufanya consultations akitafuta mali wako. We suspect that they may be detained alongside other Ugandan political detainees in military facilities such as Nalufenya in Jinja for the chieftaincy of military intelligence, headquarters in Mbuya. Yes, so that's they could be held in a military installment. Uganda.
Has the Kenyan government spoken on this subject, or their mom?
Bro, nakumbuka kwenye PCS Mudavadi alisema wakati akina Martha Karua na Boniface Mwango alijipata Uganda na Tanzania, kwa shida.
Kindly remind me.
He said, bwana, you just do not go to your neighbor and export your activism. And he said that he agrees with Tanzania for having deported / detained those people.
You know, these are Kenyan citizens. They went to another country, a different jurisdiction with their own laws and ways of doing things. Is it possible for the Ugandan government to indicate to us what law in their country
they have broken?
Hiyo tu sio kwa ubaya kama tujirani mwema. Au wenzetu kama wameleta tabia mbaya kwenu, just tell us what it is that they've done so that we also get to understand what it is according to your laws, not according to our laws.
Right.
All right? Yes.
Uganda will simply tell you, my brother, they have broken the law that they broke. The point is, it is broken. So you're asking me which law they broken? It is broken, my friend. How can I identify something broke? Lakini wase, acheni kwenda Uganda na Tanzania bana. Huko sio home. Hapa ndio home. Wacheni kwenda Uganda kwenda huko hivyo madrama. Endeni Uganda mkanunue nguo, and then Uganda mkatembelee River Nile. There's that very famous waterfall. I'm forgetting the name of that waterfall, but yes, go there. Go to Uganda and eat their matoke. Go to Uganda, look for a wife there. I hear they are very beautiful. They are also very obedient, diligent, submissive. But don't go to Uganda to disturb Museveni. Bwana, that guy is undisturbable. He doesn't like disturbance.
Traffic.
Speaking of disturbance, there is actually none on our roads. I want to squeeze back and probably go and see what's happening in Mwabava. Mwabaje, chaniagalia Mwabava. I'm looking at a beautiful map of Mombasa area, Kongowea Market. Looking good at this particular hour. Pembe za Ndovu Mombasa naona pia mko sawa kule. Dock Stage hamna shida yoyote. Jambo Village no complaints. Magongo Road naona pia mko sawa sawa. Sehemu za Changamwe kule naona pia hamna shida yoyote. Kibarani kule ICD green kumaanisha ni mwasonga vyema, traffic ipo lakini insonga. Sehemu ambayo naona maybe kuna nyekundu kumaanisha ni kidogo ni kama mesimama ni hapa mahali panaitwa Kengeleni pale katika hiyo barabara. Naona kidogo kuna sehemu moja nyekundu kumaanisha labda kidogo kuna msongamano wa magari, lakini zaidi ya hapo hamna shida yoyote. Tukirudi pale juu kidogo ni kama tunaenda pale Mali Guest House, hamna shida. Baobab Holiday Resort kule Malindini Malindi Malindi mko sawa, hamna shida yoyote sehemu hizo zote. Lakini kama kuna jambo lolote ambalo ungependa nijue ili niweze kueleza Wakenya ama watu wa Mombasa, tafadhali tufike katika mtandao wetu na tovuti yetu rgk.co.ke. Pale katika Twitter ama X ni @radiogenke, na kama ungependa pia pale YouTube waweza kutuongelesha longa nasi katika ile live chat ambayo ni Radio Generation Kenya. Otherwise zaidi ya hapo naona mwasonga vyema, hamna tashishi yoyote.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
Have you noticed that I've been brushing up on my Swahili?
I didn't notice. I thought you were speaking Swahili as you normally do.
No. It's like, right now I can like flow.
But perhaps it's my English that has shortcomings. But
yes,
my understanding of Swahili is that you speak very good Kiswahili.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I actually do speak very good Kiswahili. Na kutoka kesho nitakuwa nafanya trafiki. Nitakuwa naongea Kiswahili kingine impeccable. Unajua impeccable? Of course unajua impeccable. Ulikuwa mwalimu wa kufunza Kiingereza.
Correct.
Nilipata mara ya kwanza uliponiambia.
Bas. Thank you very much.
Let's get on to the Standard newspaper here. At last. That is what the Standard is saying. In bold. Faith Odhiambo's resignation from President William Ruto's panel on compensation for victims of protests marks a dramatic turn in her journey from protest heroine to embattled Law Society of Kenya president. Once celebrated for her fearless defense of the oppressed, Odhiambo found herself accused of betraying the very cause she championed. Her exit, after weeks of internal revolt and legal wrangles, is being seen by many as an act of courage and a step to correct a misjudgment that had tainted her stellar record. Yet, as applause mixes with skepticism, many now wonder whether she will reclaim the moral ground that once defined her leadership. The story is on page 4. Faith Odhiambo mwenyewe amesema hivi: while the clock runs down on the panel's lifetime, victims continue to reach out to me in total frustration over when their request for audience with the panel will be honored. I must therefore prioritize other avenues of responding to the plight of victims through the other positions I hold. How Mwencha shaped trade in Africa. Stories on page 6. And that's the Standard. Let's take a look at the Daily Nation. Why Faith threw in the towel. A court has blocked operations by the task force appointed on August 25th. Where is Njagi? In August last year, after anti-government protest, activist Bob Njagi was seized from a matatu by security agents and tortured for a month in captivity. Now, Njagi and his Kenyan colleague Nicholas Oyo have gone missing in Uganda, with the court told they are being detained by the military. Stories on page 4. Marriage not a 50-50 asset affair, top court rules. Page 14. Looming shortage of life-saving drugs. That story is on page 12. Why Moi picked Uhuru over Raila, Mudavadi, Kalonzo and Saitoti. That story is on page 2 and 3. And MP set condition for sale of Kenya pipeline. Story is on page 10. Over to you, Muga.
We are looking at the Star. This particular edition today has MyGov. So this particular edition is free. Right. Top left hand corner. Atrocities include victims of Wagala massacre in brutality payout. This is a statement that is attributed to a member of parliament. Well, it's actually on page 9. Page 9. It. Let me remove this. MyGov. It's interfering with me. This is Wajir West MP. I didn't say take it. I said I was removing it.
Okay,
but you can read it.
No, I'm listening to you.
Yes.
Proceed.
Yes,
continue.
Thank you very much.
All right.
This is a statement that has been attributed to Wajir West MP Yusuf Farah. Okay? And there is a placard that has been written where there has been enshrined the names of 480 victims of the Wagala massacre, inscribed a monument in their memory. Okay? It provides a history of broken promises, says Moi first pledged compensation in 1992. Now, we will talk about the Wagala massacre so that you understand. Wagala is a place, all right? And there was a massacre that took place there. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
But for now, that's just the headlines, all right? Experts call for GMOs as animal feed crisis cripples food security. For years, Kenyan farmers have been complaining of expensive and poor quality livestock feed that is eating into their profits. They say feed weakens livestock, reduces milk protection from animals. The Association of Kenyan Feeds Manufacturers says the low supply of raw materials has contributed to high cost of feed. This has been a story that has gone on for quite a long time. Our neighbors seem to have found a solution to this problem. They used to come here to benchmark. Can we also go and benchmark from them and find out what they are doing with their animals, all right? Operation Infiltrate. Plot to disarm Rigathi ahead of 2027 polls. Fresh details have emerged of a multi-pronged strategy to politically neutralize former Deputy President and DCP boss Rigathi Gachagua ahead of the 2027 general elections. The Star has established that the plans entail state infiltration, intimidation, and buyouts of his allies, as well as fielding multiple candidates in his Mount Kenya stronghold. This is a tactic that has been used from time immemorial. Nothing new here. From street smarts to global trade. But let me just make a comment on this one.
Please do.
I always marvel, if this report is to be believed to be true, this particular one, that the people who represent the state or the government in power, I'm always fascinated as to how they cannot and see how it is them who make the people who seem to oppose them famous. Because they're always talking about them. So people get to hear them all the time.
I think initially when they are trying to, stop them, oppose them, or do whatever, they
counter them.
Yeah. They inadvertently make them. They usually don't think that it will happen. Then I realize, guys, sasa nimefanya city hata kwa celeb zaidi. Wow. Uningachana.
You tell me, every time Raila Odinga is reputed to have done very many things.
Oh yeah.
That have helped this country tremendously. But in the times when he was running afoul of the government, the newspapers were full of Raila this, Raila that, Raila this, Raila that. Now, Rigathi this, Rigathi that, Rigathi this. In fact, Rigathi gets more media mileage than all the other people who are supposed to be in this one united opposition, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. From street smarts to global trade, the journey of Ronik Vora likes to joke that he should have been born in Mombasa, if not for tradition. Born in Nairobi in 1989, Ronik's birthplace was dictated by Indian custom, which requires that the first child is born where the father hails from, and the second where the mother is from, and others can be born anywhere. It's very interesting. Bang in the middle of the paper, do or die. Parties rebrand for 2027 political battle. We're in 2025.
Yes, we are.
Gears have shifted, and they're revving to go. Behind the scenes, they're quietly investing in data-driven companies. There's a picture of two individuals, Sakaja, that is the governor of Nairobi, and Babu Owino,
MP of
Embakasi
East.
Yes, they're saying Babu's chess game sends Raila and Ruto back to the drawing board. Okay, it is being said of Sakaja that he is quoting Kalonzo for Kamba votes. Boop. He has renewed dalliance with Mount Kenya. No. This one is actually has to do with Babu. I'm reading the wrong thing.
Okay.
There is supposed to be, this is what they've listed here, okay? Anti-Sakaja crusade, okay? According to this, these are the things that they're relating to Babu, okay? Sakaja.
Yeah.
Campaign centers on roads and garbage collection. Not antagonizing Raila.
Yeah.
Fighting for Gen Z. Same is being said of who? Babu Owino.
Yes.
What are they fighting for exactly? And how does this fight
benefit?
Yes, exactly. How does it benefit the Gen Z? Okay? A major Ruto critic, that is now Babu. Sakaja is not a major Ruto critic. Those are the headlines. Then business on page 8.
Yep.
Most households still rely on dirty energy for cooking. What on earth is dirty energy?
Dirty energy, sir, could include things such as firewood. You know, that's dirty.
Yani accent, hata mali hakuna R lazima mweke R kama wood. Wood wajua kuna R.
Firewood. So anyway, that's and of course fossil fuels such as kerosene, because they produce a lot of soot. That one is definitely dirty fuel.
Soot in your dirty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but most households, yes, they are surviving on vitu kama hizo mafuta ya taa. Wana survive on charcoal, wana survive on firewood. So now the question is, why are they doing it?
Because that's what they can afford, man.
Exactly. You know, gas, you can't buy gas daily. You can't say...
You can.
buy gas daily.
You can.
So I said, I was in a certain household, and I saw they have this thing where you can actually pay for gas. It's like a token. And then there's some folks that come and you buy the token, and when the gas runs out, they actually refill it for you. I don't know if you've come across that device.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, where you can buy gas daily.
There is a company that actually sells gas and or has a smart meter that allows you to pay for what you use.
That is attached now to the cylinder.
Yes.
So I have come across that, but the vast majority of people would rather just go get that makaa or that firewood because it's readily available and
simpler.
Yeah, and especially for the firewood, I honestly don't need to pay anyone for firewood. Makaa and I have kununua. But firewood, just go to a shrub, cut some trees.
Even in the city of Nairobi, there are people who sell firewood, bro.
They sell firewood.
Yes, but you can actually get firewood for free.
Yes. You just need to talk to your local carpenter. Mwambie ile unatumia, so inipea hiyo.
Yeah.
They give you the wood.
Soda still kwanza. Makes for very good fire.
If you live next to a forest or next to next to a forest like Ngong Forest, you can be getting firewood on a daily if you wanted.
And that is before these guys catch up with you. Babu Owino, it is said, wants to become governor of Nairobi.
Yes, he's made it very clear.
Yes, and that is why the idea of trying to quote the Kamba vote becomes important.
My question is, because I'm not familiar with his popularity or lack thereof. How popular is he around Nairobi such that he can actually clinch that seat?
No, that's not. That's the person of whom that could have been stated and evidence found to support that statement was Sonko. Sonko's popularity cannot be questioned.
Was unmatched.
Yes, unrivaled. All right? Babu is popular in Embakasi East. He's a two-term MP now, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, he is.
Okay, two-term MP is not easy to come by. All right? Now, if you look at how people get elected, it is through understanding coalitions and so forth within. Because you are looking at 4 communities who, in terms of just the population, represent key players within Nairobi.
Okay.
The Kikuyu, the Kamba,
the Luya,
the Luo, the Kisii.
Hao ndio caption hivyo. Wewe ni governor sasa.
My friend,
stroke senator.
The likelihood of getting voted in is very, very high. Very high. And that is well represented by the sort of MPs we have. Tim Wanyonyi, Westlands. It tells you there's a very large population or people from Western Kenya in that particular area. Okay? Babu, it said, is quoting the Kamba because Embakasi, we are told, there are very many Kambas.
Okay.
Okay?
Hiyo nani kweli. Ukiwa Embakasi katikati na useme tu Mutoa, utaona tu watu wamekuangalia hivi. Ama useme tu Kasee. Now even more eyes will look at you. Nenda tu pale katikati ya Embakasi, any place in Embakasi, and just say Kasee. Another place you can actually get away with Kasee is, or rather you get a reaction from Kasee is Umoja. Simama tu Umoja pale market, useme tu Mungi. So yes,
Mungi is a name.
Mungi is like you.
Okay.
It's like saying where city. Yeah. So if I say Mungi, it's like
I say.
Abas. So Kasee is general term for you guy. So ukisema tu Kasee, taangaliwa. So Babu Owino clearly has captured in Embakasi the Kamba vote, the Luya vote, the Luo vote,
Kikuyu vote,
the Kikuyu and the Kisii vote.
But also you will find, if you look at Embakasi, go east, go west, again, the configuration of the populations there, the community tribal population, is indicative of the MPs that you have there. Okay? Just go around Nairobi and look. It's not something that is difficult to figure out.
Okay.
So, if he can get the Kamba vote,
right,
all right, then the questions rise. So he'll be standing on which ticket again? And what makes you think the Kamba, the Wiper Party will not have their own person who they think could have a stab at it?
Well, if he, and you remember what they said, the United Opposition, and actually Martha Karua told us here live on air, she said that they're looking to have a single candidate in all the major positions across the country. So that means from MCA all the way to president. If we follow that statement, it means that perhaps wataangalia candidate wa Wiper ni nani, candidate wa ODM ni nani, kama that is Babu Owino bado atakuwa na ODM. Then they say who's popular amongst the two of you? Is it Babu Owino? Okay, fine. Wewe mtu wa Wiper, support tu jamaa. Akiingia tutakutafutia kitu. Tutakutafutia nafasi ya position. So they might actually use that formula.
That one, I will wait to see. I'm not going to comment on it.
Right.
Because there's nothing that I have seen that would convince me that is going to be the case.
But do you think Wiper is interested in having a gubernatorial candidate in Nairobi? Highly doubt.
No, but it is interested in having a slice.
Yeah.
Because if you understand the way politics is played, if we give you the vote, what do we get?
Wacha tu nitumie tu wacha tu tuende na hii situation tunasemanga Wiper ni ya Wakamba. In Nairobi County ni Mkamba mgani ako prominent isipokuwa Sonko? Na Sonko saizi yazi sijui kama ako anaweza wania kiti.
If there is an individual who was a Kenyan, is that man. We know he shares a name with you. But Sonko was a people's candidate, man.
Sasa ndio nasema ni Mkamba mgani tuna assume hapa hivi juu Wiper inasemekananga ni ya Wakamba.
No, bro, predominantly.
Yeah, predominantly.
It's a national party.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Ndio na sasa nasema tukitumia hiyo notion ya predominantly, ni nani unaona candidate Mkamba mwenye anaweza simama na kiti cha Wiper na apate kiti cha Nairobi kama governor? Sijui any prominent Kamba politicians in Nairobi that can actually probably battle it out with Sakaja, battle it out with Babu Owino, and mind you, my knowledge of Kamba politicians in the city, I don't even think I know one. Can you think of one Kamba politician in Nairobi city? None is coming to my mind. So hapa Wiper sidhani watasimamisha mtu.
The fact that we can't think of one now doesn't mean we can't come up with one.
Sioni lazima ikuwe ni mtu amejulikana, Babu Owino style, Mike Sonko style, Sakaja style.
When Kidero was governor of Nairobi, his deputy was a Kamba.
Mweke. Mweke sasa unajua ako wapi?
I know he's a PS.
And he's enjoying his life.
I'm trying to tell you that you asked I knew of Mweke when he was the deputy. Before then, I had not heard of him. Yes.
Mweke is a good guy, but I don't think... Yeah. Kitui County, to be specific.
Sio ndio kwenu. That's when I say kwenu. That's what I'm saying.
No, kwetu ni... You know, hata Kenya ni kwetu. Specifically, Ukambani ni kwetu. But sasa, if you get granular, Kitui County ndio home sasa. Mweke is a good guy. I'm saying Mweke is a good guy. I've interacted with Mweke, but Mweke kwa sasa, I don't think he has that juice. I don't know what he can do to get into the ring, but he still, if he got into the ring right now, he'll atatandikwa properly. That's my opinion. Anyway, so hapa kuna history ya Faith. Why Faith threw in the towel. Her appointment to a government team on compensation for victims of state excesses sparked controversy. Now LSK President Faith Odhiambo has resigned from her position as vice chairperson of the panel, citing stalled progress, court action, and detractors. Yeah. Things are looking thick for this particular compensation panel. To be honest, I do not know what to make of this particular situation, and I don't know what will happen for them to actually get back on the saddle and probably move ahead with compensating victims. But from the get-go, even victims have been saying no justice, hata hiyo compensation hawataki. Sasa sijui watafanya namna gani.
You know, many people hear politicians talking every once in a while of the Magala massacre, and most people don't know what it is. It happened in 1984. Okay, the area that we now refer to as northeastern Kenya was referred to in the colonial days as Northern Frontier District. Okay. There were talks of secession, and hence the shifter movement. Now we're talking about colonial times.
Yep.
Now in 1902, an ordinance was passed, meaning a law. It was called the Outlying District Ordinance Act.
Okay.
And then it was followed in 1934 again by the Special Districts Ordinance Act. Okay. Now the tensions that was brought about by the shifter wars that lasted 1963 to 1967. These were wars that were fought on secession. The people who said, since we've been ignored. Remember, the colonial government had this idea that it was an unproductive region, so you did not need to bother with developing it. Said, if that's the case, why don't we just slice off our bits? So our bits, and we go to Tanzania. Not Tanzania, we go to Somalia to Tanzania. Now, interclan rivalries and fightings had been ongoing for scarce resources or whatever it is for the longest time. The government then, in 1984, wanted a disarmament process. They said, we are going to disarm people. When the process began, according to reports that were read then, only 8 guns were returned, meaning only 8 people said, okay, we have guns. And there were guns. So now then began an army operation.
Yes.
And it focused on a certain area. Many people died, Chief. It's called a massacre for a reason.
Okay.
Because very many people died. There were horrors associated with that operation. Utter and absolute horrors. The things that were done. So indeed, if there are compensations to be made for victims, these individuals must be compensated because the families are known, the names are known, the people who are killed are known. Just a brief history of the Awagala massacre, so that it is understood. Yes.
Okay.
This time around, nobody gets left behind. You do not ignore them as they were ignored by the colonial government and successive governments after the colonial government. Yes.
But for this panel, they were looking at cases between 2017 to date.
Waachane na hiyo kitu bwana. Waachane na hiyo kitu.
Yeah.
Extend that mandate. These people were killed, and many of the people who were killed were the same circumstances of the people that they're seeking to compensate during that period of time. Yeah. It stands out, man. It stands out. Yes. Here we are talking about the genocide in Gaza. What do you think that was? People were killed, and they were of one ethnic group.
Yeah.
Yes. And they were Kenyans.
Okay. Marriage not a 50-50 asset affair. Top court has ruled. This story is on page 14.
It was a judge who ruled a man.
Let me just open it. Why are you asking specifically if it was a man?
Please answer the question. Was the judge who adjudicated over this particular
case
process a man?
Yeah. So here's the case. Landmark decision redefines sharing of marital wealth. Judges say spouses must prove their input, whether through income, care work, or emotional support, to earn a fair share of property acquired during marriage. When a couple separated in 2008, their battle over property reignited a question that continues to shape family law in Kenya. Does marriage automatically entitle a spouse to half of everything? The Court of Appeal and later the Supreme Court gave a decisive answer: no. Property is not divided equally by default, but shared according to each partner's proven contribution, financial or non-financial. So it wasn't necessarily one judge, it was a bench.
How many women were there? How many men were there?
Bwana, si uangalie Supreme Court iko na watu wangapi?
No. Sometimes special benches are set to look at issues.
So they've said
it doesn't have all the judges.
It has said the Court of Appeal and later the Supreme Court. Supreme Court inakuanga mpaka na CJ. So CJ Martha Koome, and then Deputy CJ Mwilu. Yes. So we know at the very least 2 women. And then there's Njoki Ndung'u, 3 women.
Okay.
Yeah. That is as far as the Supreme Court is concerned.
So they've said that it's not a freebie. That just because you're married now you can claim. You have to prove what you brought in. Well, what that means, therefore, that if you have a wife who has more property than you, the same applies.
Oh, yeah. That's what they say, spouses. It's not about man or woman. It's about both of you.
You know, this one is going to be of interest because when you look at the inheritance, not laws practiced in this country, even though we have a law that stipulates with great clarity that all children, male and female, have equal rights in inheritance, it is still a problem applying it. Shida. Because people still think women, especially married women, they got married. Why are they claiming land? As though that was not their parent. They have equal rights.
Well, the arguments that I've seen, this is now outside the courts. The argument I usually feel and hear and see is what you've just mentioned there. See, let's even give this woman a name, Katerina. Si Katerina ameenda ameolewa na James. James amempatia shamba because James pia alipata shamba kutoka baba yake ama babu yake. So James has inherited land. Why is Katerina inheriting more land? Yet here they are men, or her brothers, who will need that land to share with their wives and by extension their children. So it's like Katerina is taking a fair share of what belongs to kile kizazi kingine ambacho kinakuja. So Katerina na James wachukua ile shamba waliachiwa na baba yao in law.
That's justifying a position that you want to take. Inheritance is for the children. The women are as much children as the men.
Oh yeah.
It's that simple. So this issue of you married, you didn't marry,
is neither here nor there.
That is logic that you are applying to justify a position that you want.
Yeah.
This was the parent had property, the children are to divide it equally. It's as simple as that. It's not complicated.
So unapata, the women are benefiting twice. Yeah.
So
they're benefiting twice from this inheritance. And the men wananyang'anywa, wanaibiwa.
How? You see now that language you've used. Wanaibiwa kivipi?
Yeah, I'm telling you what I've had. Because I've been in situations where people are fighting over land with their sisters.
May they continue fighting if that's what they've chosen to do. But what you're inheriting is a parent's property, and there is no inequality in the parenthood. If they were arguing about a child who say the mother came with or the father came, whatever the logic.
Personally, I'm for everyone to get an equal share, period. Man or woman.
It's as simple as that, really. It's not
because your father, your mother, they loved you equally.
My friend, it is understandable that may be the only property or the only asset that you have. But as you're alive and well, try and acquire your own property. That was your father's property, okay?
All right.
There'll be no discussion and argument about it because that's yours.
Thank you.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sing'oei says that most Kenyan nationals captured fighting in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war are victims of manipulation and human trafficking. In a statement on Monday, following a meeting with the Ukrainian ambassador to Kenya, Yuri Toka, Sing'oei assured him that the government of Kenya is doing everything possible to protect vulnerable citizens. The PS requested that the support of Ukrainian ambassador to have the captured Kenyans access consular assistance and repatriation back to Kenya. This comes amid reports of Kenyan nationals captured by Ukrainian forces while on the front line. The Council of Governors has dismissed reports by the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union alleging that 136 babies have died in Kiambu County, terming the claims false and politically motivated. In a statement on Monday, the council said it has noted with great concern the false publication by the Doctors Union regarding the state of healthcare services in the county.
The council disassociates from the headline about the death of 136 babies and categorically states that it is not factual. We urge the Ministry of Health and KMPDU to stop politicizing health and leave the level of government with the mandate to run it.
Meanwhile, the KMPDU issued a scathing condemnation of the Council of Governors, accusing them of downplaying the crisis by terming the widely reported deaths as pure mischief and false publication. The government has dismissed claims that the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement project is discriminatory on the basis of age or education. Speaking in Nairobi during the Nyota Sensitization Forum, LAN's Principal Secretary Nixon Korir assured the program, which targets over 820,000 beneficiaries, will be fair, transparent and inclusive. On his part, Irrigation PS Ephantus Kimodo clarified that Hustler Fund defaulters are not eligible for the Nyota grant, urging persons with disabilities to take advantage of the opportunity and apply.
I think in the next presentation, I will bring the statistics of the Kenyans who dropped out of class 2, of class 8, of Form 2, and all the way to Form 4. And yet they have families, and yet they have school fees to pay. And yet it is the responsibility of government to give them opportunity.
Thus, the program is considering the youth who reach Form 4 and didn't pursue further studies after that, and also for those who have some debts in Hustler Fund also may not qualify.
Residents of Busia County have rejected the proposal to amend the constitution through parliamentary initiative. Speaking during a public hearing in Busia town, they insisted that any constitutional amendment should only be done through a referendum. The residents told senators on Monday that some of the proposals in the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2025 are ill-advised and fail to serve the interests of ordinary Kenyans.
But the question in the room is it going to benefit you or is it going to benefit this individual? We have seen many amendments done in the National Assembly. But if you are keen, they are after them, not you as a public.
Lakini kama housing for example, watu walisema nini? No. Na ilifanya namna gani? Inapitishwa. Na hakuna mwenye alipinga huko juu.
Tanzanian police have warned against the use of social media to spread misinformation. This follows a widely shared video of an alleged military officer criticizing the government 3 weeks ahead of the general elections, identifying himself as Captain Tesha from the Air Force. He accuses the government of corruption, rights violations, and political interference in the military. In apparent response to the viral video, the military has warned against attempts to draw it into politics. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Indeed, welcome back. This is Radio Generation, 6 minutes past 7 o'clock. My name is Mungala Mbuvi. Siti Muga is with me in studio. We are the People's Breakfast and indeed the home of hard truths and bold insights. 88.8 in Nairobi, 90.7 FM in Mombasa, rgk.co.ke. Get to watch us live and get to interact with us as well on Radio Gen KE. That is on X, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn. Get us live on Facebook at Radio Generation Kenya and watch us live as well on YouTube at Radio Generation Kenya. With me in studio is two gentlemen. They are economists and they are actually from the Institute of Public Finance. I'm talking about Bernard Njiri and Martin Kabaya. Let me start with you, Martin. Martin, a very good morning to you. Welcome to Radio Generation.
Good morning to you, Mr. Mbuvi.
Karibu tena sana.
Thank you for the welcome.
Right. On Bernard Njiri, a very good morning, Bernard. Karibu sana.
Morning to you.
Yes.
And thanks for having us.
Nice.
In the show.
All right. We know the Institute of Public Finance is more or less a think tank on matters fiscal and matters finance, public policy, basically. But perhaps you can give it another broader definition. And I'll go to you, Martin. Tell us more about IPF before we get into the meat of the conversation.
Thank you. IPF is, as you've said, is a think tank. Mm-hmm. And we always strive to give information that is helpful to the country and that is evidence-based.
Okay.
At IPF, we have different departments. Mm-hmm. We deal with macro, fiscal, and debt issues. Mm-hmm. We have climate financing department. We also,
really?
Yes. We also
climate financing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah. We also have what do we call it? We also have health.
Okay.
Health financing. Mm-hmm. And we have also revenue department, revenue and tax. And there is another department which deals with programs. Mm-hmm. So IPF is holistically, it's maybe I can say we deal with matters that mostly affect a common mwananchi.
Sikujua mambo ya climate finance. Perhaps another, explain to me what that is all about.
I can say that climate, we deal with finding ways in which we can leverage on the available resources to ensure that the effect of climate change are not so much felt by mwananchi, or we can say they have been compensated for the effects that come with climate change.
Yeah. Wow. I trust me, tungekaa hapa mpaka kesho na singewaijua that is part of your mandate in terms of policy and just coming up with the ideas you've just spoken about. Yeah. So Bernard, when we talk about IPF and the role it has played since its inception, perhaps you can let us know some of the milestones that we can discuss as far as your institute is concerned.
Thank you for that good question. By the time IPF was starting, the vision bearer realized we have a huge gap in Kenya because this thing called public finance is not taught, in depth, even in our institutions of higher learning. It's just touched superficially as a unit. Yeah. But now when you look at public finance, in practice, it's so deep. And remember now we have a default system of government. So we came in now to fill that gap, to first look at the way public resources are allocated, we look beyond allocations now to analyze expenditure. And that's not enough. We have to look at expenditure per capita. We have to look at the issue of equity.
Right.
The issue of efficiency. Okay? And we do so by every year publishing 2 critical documents. One of them is the Kenya Macro Fiscal Analytics Snapshot, and the other one is the annual national shadow budget. And the shadow budget, we use it to engage the national treasury. We give our proposition, alternative propositions. This is how much you have allocated in the budget, but using our evidence, we propose what ought to be allocated to which sector or which program. And that evidence we generate by looking at how budget was executed in the last financial years. And then we also look at the level of achievement of key performance indicators at the sector level. And we use that evidence now to question, how come a program was allocated, at 100%, absorbed 80%, achieved only the 40% of the KPIs, but you allocate more to that program. We raise those critical questions through the annual national shadow budget. Then for the emphasis, we also, go deeper now to look at critical sectors like health, like agriculture, wash, gender, and the PFM development. So, and then again, we give policy recommendations based on evidence. And then over time, we have seen an improvement, even in terms of the way the National Treasury is, for example, making debt reports comprehensive, compared to a few years ago. And again, we have seen even the public being more informed. We have seen the public discourse, even in our media spaces, how now that conversation is more enriched with factual information. So I think that's part of the success that we have seen so far, but still there is a lot to be done.
Kamau, if I'm not wrong, it's like I've heard him say that you provide an alternative budget to the government.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
It's a shadow budget that we usually publish. It's usually on March, April.
So this is actually before the budget is read in Parliament.
So it's used to advise now what ought to be in the coming budget. Because for us, as he has said, we've done analysis. We've seen these projects or these programs were given this money. This is the KPI that was achieved, and this is what failed, and this is what went through. So we advise now with knowledge on what was done and what was done better, and with which resources, and what needs to be done now to ensure that there is efficiency. Now, and something that he has left out, we've collaborated with the National Treasury to ensure that the government document, most of the time, you can agree with me, they are technical. Like the MTDS, that is the medium-term debt strategy. The annual national public debt reports.
Actually, to be honest, the common mwananchi won't go through that.
Now that is where, as IPF, we came in. We suggested a way of making these documents mwananchi friendly. And for the past 1 year, we have collaborated with the Treasury. There is a mwananchi version of the medium-term debt strategy, and there is a mwananchi version of the annual public debt management report.
Na hii version ya mwananchi iko wapi?
Iko kwa mtandao wetu.
Okay.
All
right. So we can refer to it at any one point.
Yes.
Okay. What both of you are saying sounds very beautiful. Very rosy, very delicious, for lack of a better word. How do we end up with what we usually end up every other year?
That's a good question. And that's the reason we are having this conversation today. You can agree with me that, in this country we have very good policies written in good English, very flowery language, but most of them end up gathering dust, on the shelves.
This is the story we hear every single time with almost every document, whether it comes from the government or given to the government. They are somewhere collecting dust. Yes.
So, and that's why, because of that, lack of political goodwill, to implement what is pro citizens or pro mwananchi, there is that need now to intensify our demand for accountability. There is that need to continuously educate the citizens on their rights, on what the budget should do for them, on what, we simplify these technical terms. Like, if you tell someone budget execution, it might not make a lot of sense to them.
Okay.
But when you tell someone, yes, the government had allocated 138 billion to the health sector, but that money was not released to the health sector during that financial year, the whole of it. Now, Mwananchi starts to relate, okay, so that's why there was no drugs in the hospitals. That's why I could only get a CT scan, but there was no, doctor to interpret the report. You just get a report, but there is no interpreter. You have to look for a doctor out there to interpret. So now that way Mwananchi can relate. So we end up here because of the nature of our budgeting process, the nature of our implementation process. And what do I mean by this? Remember, the budget circular comes out in August. We start the process then. By November, sector hearings are going on. Then in January, we have the draft budget policy statement. By mid February, we have the budget policy statement. Then we wait for the program-based budget to be tabled in Parliament in April. Then we have the budget being read in June. From there, now we start the implementation.
Right.
But what happens after the citizens come out in large number to give their submissions, after the budget has been approved by Parliament? What happens after that? Supplementary budgets. Okay?
Yes.
So the money that was, again, allocated to critical sectors, key areas, that touches Mwananchi, end up being moved through supplementary budgets.
Okay.
So that's where now Mwananchi fails to feel the impact of a 4.3 trillion budget because money was moved. Some of it was used in the so-called empowerment programs. We can't tell which foot is that in the budget, how that money can be accounted for.
Right.
So, when we have those kind of practices, at the execution phase of the budget, we end up having the same conversation every year. And Mwananchi cannot really feel what 4.3 trillion means to them.
It's crazy we say it, and it sounds like we're very okay with it. We keep on having this conversation every year. Mwananchi won't understand 4.3 trillion. I want us to focus for a second on our poverty levels, right? The poverty is not declining, and if it is, it's declining probably at a very sluggish rate. I'm looking at not companies, but countries such as Switzerland, where there's no poor person, and the gap between the super rich and the ones who are not super rich is very small. A country like Liechtenstein, Monaco, and we can go on and mention those countries, they actually do not have the levels of poverty we have here. Yet if you look at even let's take Switzerland for example, they don't have a lot of natural resources compared to us. They have a few rivers here and there where they are capitalizing on their hydropower, they capitalize on their timber, but they do not have like what we have. Yet when you look at their GDP and ours, when you look at their poverty levels or their rich levels and ours, there's a huge disparity. What is wrong with us?
There's nothing wrong with us.
There is, City.
No, there isn't.
There is.
All these countries you mention, Switzerland is a country that has a population of 9 million people.
Right.
Norway, which is much bigger.
We have 50 million.
58.
Yeah.
Norway has a population of 5 million. It's a very, very big country. It has a sovereign fund that makes almost every Norwegian a dollar millionaire. The city-states that you mentioned are just that. They are towns which are called cities. They are small places with populations that sometimes are not even a million. Okay? So the issue of their wealth, again, is historical. If you look at the wealth of the West, this question was for our guests. Sorry, guys, continue.
No, but finish your statement. I'm sure you've left people hanging.
I will not lose the train of my thought. Sorry.
Yeah, but anyway, Kamau, I think I was asking you when we look at the resources that Kenya has versus what those countries I've mentioned have, we should be doing better. And we just focus on the human resources alone. 58 million people versus 5 million or less, surely. Shouldn't you be doing more?
Yes. I think what I feel is that we have underutilized resources in our country, both physical resources and human resources. Because I remember the first president, I was not born when he was there, but the clips that I hear from him, he used to say, tumalize umaskini. And that thing is still being said by the fifth president of the republic. What does that tell you? We've not moved, or we have not made any strides in trying to eradicate poverty. And when we think about poverty, we'll think of what do we have as a country, what resources do we have, what can we do to improve what we already have. And I think, as we've said, Vision 2030 was very strategic in achieving these goals or moving us from poverty. But as time has gone, we've maybe somehow deviated from the vision and concentrated more on politics. Because I think things like, if we want really to get out of poverty as a country, we should start being an exporter rather than an importer. A net exporter rather than a net exporter rather than a net importer. And to achieve this, I think we need to be so much deliberate on our economic zones.
Let me ask this question of our guests.
Yes.
The discussion that you're having is a good one, and it opens people's eyes to the thought process that is undertaken in examining and trying to determine whether the monetary resources that we allocate for the various ministries actually, one, achieves what is it intended.
Yes.
But the question is this: what economic framework guides this thinking?
Thank you for that question, and allow me to tie that to what the CS, National Treasury and Economic Planning, said 2 days ago, that we have been taking we only have Treasury, but it seems there was no planning happening, because that's a very sensitive statement coming from the CS, that admitting that planning collapsed many years ago in this country. So when we talk about a framework should guide how we allocate these resources, and it should be informed by evidence. Again, the CS admitted that we don't have planning in this country.
Did he explain what he meant when he said we do not have planning?
he didn't go
into details.
He
just made a statement and continued.
Made a statement, and a very dangerous statement. You leave that for the public to consume, that planning has not been working. We only have treasury, but planning has not been working in this country. And he tried to give the disconnect between how counties do the CIDPs, the County Integrated Development Plans, and the annual budget plans, and how the national government does the medium-term, economic framework, the MTEFs. Even if there is that disconnect between the county governments and the national government, because collectively we have that shared vision as a country. So, and the national government does not cascade the kind of thinking, the kind of documents that we have to the counties.
You are an economist, both of you are economists. That's why I asked the framework, because that thinking and the details of it must be anchored within certain structures that guide it.
Yes.
Because that thinking tells us what it is and what it hopes and seeks to achieve. So even when we have this discussion, we know exactly the boundaries within which we are talking. Because if you talk about what now is attributed to the CS makes a statement, and it's a statement. We're a developing economy,
yes,
and what should dominate my thinking is what are the pathways to development that seeks to meet our needs? What is it? Determining and understanding whether our resources are fully utilized is a wonderful thing. And that is something that any Kenyan listening should know, that yes, there are Kenyans who may not be in those positions of power that you speak of, but their concern for the country has gotten them to try and understand, so that you understand exactly what to question with regards to what your leaders tell you. So we're questioning it now. Let me ask my question again.
Yes.
Framework. What economic framework are we following? Or what have you seen has been followed? What have you seen has been applied when we are thinking about all these things we talk? Because we give details about the things we are doing. But I go back to the question. What is the economic framework that we are actually within whose boundaries we are working?
Thank you. I think when I look at all the previous governments, every government comes with a manifesto, and then yes, and that's where we deviate from a good document like Vision 2030, because the previous government talked about the Big Four agenda. Then we have shifted from the Big Four agenda. Now it's the bottom up economic transformation agenda. So what now happened to the projects that were started during the Big Four agenda? Now we have shifted, and you look at our blueprint, which is Vision 2030. Even the Big Four agenda was not, totally anchored on the blueprint. Then we come now to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Again, there are some disconnects when you look at what should be guiding us over the long term, because we come up with a framework, if we can just give it the word framework, that is meant to serve a short-term period. It's like a political tool to serve for that period. We are not planning having a framework or a plan that should serve or should succeed. Even if the president was to serve for 10 years, a plan that should succeed.
I have a question.
For the over 10 years.
I have a question. And the reason I'm asking this is because you've actually mentioned it.
Yes.
Is the bottom-up economic like an actual model taught in if I were to study economics today, would I encounter that somewhere in class? Or is it something that the president and his team came up, they formulated, and then they say we will call this a bottom-up agenda, economic transformation agenda?
It's not something you would study in school.
Okay, all right. No, because I was actually beginning to think that it is something that can be applied. You know,
There are
like,
certain economic processes that can be described as bottom up. Describe. And it will be explained to you why it is called bottom up as opposed to a top down process.
Yeah.
Process. Yes, but it is not an economic theory.
yes.
Yes.
And the reason I was asking this is so that I can actually be aware of this next question. We have seen the president trying to empower people at the bottom, right? For instance, he called them to status the other day, young people, kawapatia pikipiki, kawapatia trolleys to go sell smokies.
Pause.
Right.
Start again. You said the president has demonstrated that he is trying to do what exactly?
No. The reason I'm asking that, the reason I started by asking what is the bottom, is it something that is actually in a theory?
Yes. I'm seeking to
So now
understand your
the
thinking.
next
Yes.
question is, we saw the president calling several individuals to State House over
We
the
did.
last couple of weeks.
Yes, we
and
did.
one thing that he did when he called them, for instance, when he engaged the youth in State House, he gave them certain things. For example, akawapatia pikipiki, akawapatia trolleys za mayai and other things. Might not remember all of them, but the point is aliwapatia. Now, for him, I'm assuming he's really trying to reach to that person, pale chini.
How many people were there at State House?
I can't remember, but they were many.
And all of them got trolleys and
They
trays
got
of-
something.
and trays
Not
of
all
eggs.
of them, but several people got things. Kuna watu walisema walipata pikipiki, kuna wenye walipata trolleys, sijui kama kuna kitu kingine ilipatikana, but the point is walipata vitu. So now, is that something that can actually help an economy? If we were to go to all the bashinanis in Kenya, tupende pikipiki, tupatie watu wengine, tuwafungulie vinyozi, hiyo ni kitu inaweza uplift economy. Because mimi najaribu kufikiria sasa kama yule mtu ako pale chini.
Thank you. That question is connected to what City asked. Framework.
Yes.
Because if you look at our documents, all the planning documents that are uploaded on the National Treasury website,
right?
There is no single sentence that can support what is being called empowerment. And let's not shy away from calling a spade a spade. These are handouts. We can't really describe that as empowerment if you look at it from an economic sense, because what we should be having are systems and policies that will support your business. It's not the work of the president to call you to State House to give you a trolley to go and feed eggs on the streets. Having systems and policies that support you
to buy my own trolley,
to buy your own trolley, to do your business, to file returns, seamlessly
with KRA.
Should that be the case? But these handouts cannot be economic empowerment. Many people actually, for example, if you call 10,000 teachers or 1,000 teachers to State House and give them 10,000 shillings each, call it a reimbursement or transport reimbursement or empowerment or whatever, that's a very small proportion of the population. And again, it does not serve what should be supporting the economy. It does not support our manufacturing sector.
Yeah.
It does not create jobs. It does not support sectors that should be adding value to this economy. Because how does because I see them as optics. Come, pose, have a picture with a motorbike, then leave. Those are optics. How does that add value to our domestic systems.
Obviously, he didn't give very many people motorbikes, but that one person that got a motorbike, maybe atasema, now every day I'm able to earn some 500, and I'm not supporting. I'm just asking logically here.
Mbuvi, let me say this.
Please do.
We already have some programs that are meant to do this work. We have Youth Fund. We have Women Enterprise Fund. We have Uwezo Fund. These programs...
Now we have Nyota Fund.
And we have now the Nyota Fund that is going to be launched. That has been...
It's been launched.
Launched, yes. But you are bringing Nyota Fund when you are already underfunding the already available programs. So I'm assuming when the president calls 10,000 people at the State House, let's assume they come from Meru, where I come from. These people, transport from there to here and back is around 3,000.
Okay.
You give each person 10,000.
Amebaki na
elfu saba, si ndio? This 7,000, when you look at what has been happening, capitation to schools, the money has been reduced from 22,000 to 16,000. What is the difference there? 16 to 22, 6,000. So assume you are a parent of a student. So this 7,000, you'd go back
and pay fees.
Sindio? Will you be coming to State House each and every year when you need to pay these school fees? So I'm saying we have misplaced priorities as a country. Let us fund the already available programs. Let us give the Uwezo Fund, the Youth Fund, these monies, because 10,000 people, 10,000 bob, that is 10 million. Is it 10 million or 1 million? And you are calling people from each place. So if this money was allocated to these programs, and these programs were meant to finance businesses, for you to get money in those programs, you ought to submit a well-structured business plan, or something that you're going to do with this money for you to be funded, and you must show progress of what you're doing. That is the real empowerment, not the handouts.
Okay. Let's talk about manufacturing for a minute, because I look at some of these countries that are really doing good, and especially Asian tigers, like we like calling them. China, for instance, really doing well as far as manufacturing is concerned. India also performing amazingly well when it comes to manufacturing. We have resources here in terms of human resource. Watu wamekula ugali vizuri hapa wanaweza fanya manufacturing in various industries.
Tunawa export
say tunawapea na huko nje, si ndio? Why are we not able to have a proper manufacturing industry in Kenya? We are manufacturing, yes, but I feel like the levels at which we are can actually be made better.
Let me tell you a very something that will shock you. If you look at data now, for the past 40 years, the growth in you regress. That is, you
go backwards.
No, some this is economics.
Okay.
You look at manufacturing, growth in manufacturing, then you look at growth in GDP.
Yes.
When you look at these two things, you take the data for the past 40 years on growth in manufacturing, growth in GDP, you will get a negative correlation.
Growth in manufacturing, growth in GDP.
It is giving you a negative correlation. What does that tell you?
Okay.
If GDP, if manufacturing is growing,
yes,
GDP is regressing. There is a negative correlation.
Okay.
And that brings a lot of questions, because government always reports that there is growth in manufacturing each and every year. And there is also growth in GDP. But when you compare the two, data, this is data now, it will give you a negative correlation. Why?
You are the economist. Tell us.
Let me tell you why. Whatever we are calling manufacturing in Kenya, it's not.
What is it?
Rebranding and repackaging. Over 80% of what is manufactured in Kenya are imports.
So tunapatiwa two parts, tunashikanisha.
We import things, then we come and do some packaging, repackaging, and sell. And mind you, these things, we don't export them.
They're used locally.
They are locally used.
But surely we do have things that we manufacture in the country.
Yes, I've said 80%. There is a 20% that remains for us here.
That we actually manufacture.
Yes, very few things. But now, if we want to be a country that is a manufacturing country, how are we importing 80% of what we call, or what the government calls manufactured goods in the country?
I know for a fact, for instance, in Thika, tuko na magari huko tunaletanga tunashikanisha.
Yes.
Volkswagen, a few Toyotas here and there. We actually assemble them.
Yeah.
So we don't consider that manufacturing.
That is assembly.
No, but it is not. That's assembly.
That is assembly.
I want to actually just confirm, because when we look at the industries we have, we consider that one of them, right?
Yeah.
Now, I look at gaps in manufacturing, and I feel like, and especially in agricultural manufacturing, that's a huge gap that we haven't exploited. When we look at pharmaceutical manufacturing, that's an even bigger one that we haven't exploited to its full potential.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that if we were to actually take those two, just those two, and we say we focus on these ones, I think would probably be on our way, a very fast way to becoming a first world country.
Exactly, because if you look at the oils that we consume, most of
the cooking oils?
Yes, the cooking oils. Most of the ingredients there are imports. We do not. If I challenge you and go to these oil manufacturing companies and tell them to give you a list of their suppliers,
none of them is Kenyan.
You will be astonished, because most of the things they have been imported. So it's like, as I was saying, imports and GDP have a negative correlation.
So if maneno alikuwa anasema tuna manufacture lakini si tuna import, tunaleta hizi vitu. So we are okay.
That's why we
are importing what somebody else has manufactured.
Yes.
And also
we
going back
call
to the
that
point of
manufacturing.
Net importation as opposed to exportation.
Exactly.
It goes back to the question I asked. Framework. You see, you cannot simply have a series of activities that are supposed to be indicative of a certain development process. There has to be a structure within which they exist. So you understand that when this particular variable moves, it is moving to achieve this.
Yes.
And when it achieves this is what will happen.
Yes.
The causal effects. It's something that you need to be able to visualize. But this mentions of this and that and this and that and that, and just when you're getting over this on roads, just when you begin to understand road health, you say, okay, framework. There has to be a thinking. You've heard me say on many occasions that when you look at our county systems, it provides evidence for what he's saying. There is no county we have in this country that can proudly talk about its own source revenue. A growing own source revenue tells you that there's a lot of economic activity in that county. If there's economic activity within the counties, the economic activity within the country will also automatically grow. And you will actually envision a situation where people are actually getting wealthier. They're better off than they were before. That is not the case.
Sure.
Our county governments wait for their share from the national government, and their first port of call is to complain that it is not enough. Okay?
Yes.
But they never talk about how they plan to grow the economies of their counties. Because that is where the growth of the country ought to lie.
Okay.
Because when you look at the so-called developed nations, you will see what I'm telling you. You'll be told, if you're talking tech, you go to California. Go to the Midwest, they are farmers. People strengthen whatever it is that they are good at. And so the country grows. Okay? So when we talk about what you're saying happened at State House, okay, where does it fit into this very larger plan?
It's not.
Where?
It's just political.
Because that a conversation of 10,000 people, if it's empowerment, if you ask me, should have involved getting these young people to understand the thinking that they must have if they actually hope to grow out of the despondency they find themselves in. When you give gifts you are guaranteeing there will be no growth, because you have not given that impetus and that seed that helps the person think about what they need to do.
So it's
they think in terms of who they can go to next to receive.
It's that notion of teaching someone to fish as opposed to giving them the fish.
Exactly.
I want to talk about IMF for a second here, and Bernard, perhaps this one I'll direct it to you. We borrowed a lot of money from these Bretton Woods, institutions.
Yes.
And City, has always complained that these guys hawasaidiangi hata ukienda kwa zile countries wamepeana pesa.
I don't complain. I state it as a fact.
Right.
That these austerity measures they keep pushing towards have never worked anywhere. Okay?
Yes.
So when somebody insists that is the process we must go through, the guarantee is that we will not go anywhere. It's not really complicated. That is my point. It's not a complaint.
Yeah.
I'm stating it as a fact. Yes.
So Bernard,
yes.
Over to you. Why do we keep on going to IMF, World Bank, and any other institution that gives us this monies, and then they give us conditions, and they know for a fact easy conditions are meant to stifle growth?
Thank you. Before I come to that, allow me to touch on this program called Nyota, because like Martin said, we already have existing programs, and as we speak, I remember earlier this year the government was trying to push Parliament to allow the executive to waive 6 billion of defaulted Hasora Fund. I remember when I was having an interaction with members of Parliament, pleading with them that if that motion is brought before the House, it needs to be shut down, because who are these beneficiaries of the Hasora Fund who have defaulted 6 billion?
Right.
And then when you look at this Nyota, it's talking about youth between 18 to 29 years. And here are the keywords: to finance, train, and mentor. Okay. So that's the goal of the Nyota program. But now, here is the big risk. In this training, the so-called training, you will see government officials moving to, they don't want to do training in Nairobi because there is no DSA. So,
what is the DSA?
Daily subsistence allowance.
Per diem.
The per diem.
Yes.
So they will be taking those trainings.
Actually, there is an out of office allowance that is given to civil servants.
Yes.
That is a paltry sum.
Yeah, you can't compare it to if you're sent to.
No, it's actually meant to buy you lunch. So it's not for. I'm agreeing with you.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
It's actually.
But if we
tiny.
were to go to Mombasa, we take a flight, and the DSA there is good. So you will find this money, the Nyota money, most of it will add in trainings, in the so-called mentorship.
Yes.
Okay?
Is that a bad thing?
It's a bad thing.
Why?
Because it's just benefiting a few individuals within government.
Are you saying that training will not take place?
But why do we need that training? There is a sector called General Economic and Commercial Affairs. It's a sector. Under that sector, we have business incubation, mentorship, training. Like we have that program at the GECA. Why then introduce, why are we duplicating?
Let me ask a different question.
Yes.
All these funds that we have, whether it's youth fund, women's fund, ways of fund,
even Asla Fund is part of that.
I was looking for it. That one. Okay. Also,
Yeah.
Are we saying that there's homogeneous funding for all of them, including Nyota? Does the funding come from the same source, or are they funded differently? For instance, let me ask a question: how is Nyota funded?
The simple question is, all this money comes from the consolidated fund.
Yes. Where does it come from? I'm asking a very specific question, because when it comes to Nyota, what I have read and heard is that it involved money that was sought from outside the country. And correctly, it goes to the consolidated fund. So that's why I'm asking. All these projects that we speak of that are meant to empower the youth, are the fundings the same? Do some come from the exchequer? Because that is now our money we're putting into it. There are others where money is sought from elsewhere to come and fund this. That is the question I'm asking.
The ASLA fund, the Uwezo fund, the youth fund, those are funded from
Exchequer.
the exchequer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Nyota?
Nyota, I'm not very certain.
It's not clear
where
how
the funding is coming
that
from.
money is reportedly not from the exchequer directly. It came from elsewhere. Now,
As a form of a loan, a grant.
as a form of money.
and those are the difficult questions that the government need to answer to the people even before rolling out this program, so that the people can decide whether they need or the people can give authority to for the government to enter that kind of an arrangement.
Do you see the problem that we are grappling with here? The reference that my colleague Paul mentioned regarding State House and what he reported as having been reported or having been witnessed, that's what we are fighting against. Because when you tell someone that they need to apply, applications requires a certain rigorous mindset and a bother and a time to be able to do it. And it also requires patience for you to wait for it to come through and to know. Instant gratification is what he described, where you go there anticipating you may get something that will help you for the day. So if there's a mindset of immediate gratification among people, and you are talking to them about plans and development processes that take time, how many are likely to listen to that plan, and how many are likely, and that's what will actually help them grow, and how many are going to listen to a plan which tells you, if you apply for this, you get the money instantly and you can do this. That the pushback is not even coming from any organization. The pushback is from the mindset that is created from people who have learned to expect instant gratification. So when you talk about anything that takes time, they will pay lip service to it, but the actual movement towards what you're saying will not take place, because they have an understanding that if they may an opportunity to ensure that instant fix as comes about, it's something they're always hoping and waiting for.
And I think it's the government that is supporting that mindset because of political mileage.
It is not the government; it's politicians. Not the government.
Politicians.
It's politicians. We shouldn't confuse it, because when you talk government in its true form, you're talking about the executive, you're talking about judiciary, and that's government. Okay, but sometimes we use the word government generically to refer to the executive. Okay, but it is not just the executive. It is the political language of politicians in this country. They encourage it. Why do we have the sort of amounts that we keep speaking of every time we talk about a campaign process, an election process? Why do we need all the amount of money you hear people talking about? Because you wonder, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of
It's
money.
in the tens and twenties of millions to be an MCA. MCA. What do you need all that money for? To begin, and where are you going to get the money anyway to campaign? MPs is small. Presidential, now we're in the billions immediately. How? It is the politicians who push this agenda, not government. And it isn't the politicians who are in the executive now. It is all of them. All. In one way or the other, it is literally, this one, they take equal blame if blame is to be apportioned.
Sure.
All right. Sorry. You were saying something.
Oh, sorry. You had asked about the IMF program. before we lose that. And the IMF is always called a lender of last resort.
Yes.
So, as a country, I think and learning from the experiences of Kenya and other developing economies, it's apparent these institutions are not meant to build Africa. They are not meant to build developing economies. But why do we keep messing, then land there for rescue? Later on, we lament. Okay? As we speak, Kenya is negotiating another program with the IMF.
Yes.
So, what do we expect? A haircut.
Austerity measures.
But even as because it's like, as Kenyans, we expect IMF and development partners to play the big brother role when we already have our institutions. We have the Office of the Auditor General, we have Parliament, we have the Controller of Budget, we have the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. We have institutions that should be supporting our public finance management systems to work. Not just work, but to work efficiently and to achieve the intended goals. But we fail to look at, we fail to be inward looking, like, okay, without IMF, what should our institutions be doing without IMF? For example, the Office of the Auditor General, when you read those reports, 90% is this money could not be accounted for. Okay, then government will push back and say, by the time this audit report was being released, we were compiling these other documents. And, that audit report is not treated as final because government is always given a chance now to push back. Oh, these were the documents you had requested at the audit stage. Now we have these ones, trying to regularize what has already been flagged. Okay, and then the Auditor General does not go a step further to give a report whether there was, value for money in every transaction. Because I think that's where again
is that the work of the office though, to tell us that, look, this is the amount that was spent or wasn't spent, or let's even say this is the money that was spent on whatever, and we actually did get value for money. Is that part of the role of that office, or is there someone else who has that role?
It should be the role of that office, because what is an audit?
Okay,
it's not just telling us this money was not accounted for. Was there value for money?
Okay,
because if you look at the corporate world, auditors, even tell whether shareholder value was affected by that transaction or not.
Okay.
So even at the government level, the Auditor General ought to do that. Tell us whether there was value for money when this deal was being signed or being executed.
Okay.
But the Auditor General often talk about underfunding. So we should focus more on how our institutions should support us. Now,
we have 20 seconds to the top of the hour.
20 seconds.
Yes.
In March this year, Kenya bolted out of the IMF program after the 8th review because we had not met, the government had not met most of the conditionalities that were set, and those conditions revolved around debt sustainability, safeguarding social spending, improving governance and transparency, and working on broader economic reforms. That most of them were not achieved. I hope we can go into details on this one, because it will help the public out there and the civil society and everybody to understand what should we be focusing on as the negotiations are ongoing for the next IMF program, and what should we expect, because it's good also for us to understand the mandate of the IMF, what it can do, what it can't do, because of the so-called sovereignty of a country.
Bernard, let's take a short break. We shall return, of course, Mr. Kabaya. We shall get into that deeper conversation that you're talking about. Right now, though, here's the news with Winnie Maganga.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The High Court has extended conservatory orders halting the functions of the panel of experts on compensation of victims of demonstrations and public protest. This marks another blow to President William Ruto, who announced the task force in August but has been met by roadblocks. Initial conservatory orders were issued on September 8th when Justice Kizito Magare certified the application dated September 5th, 2025 as urgent.
I'm able to get back to you on judgment 14 days after hearing, which takes us to when? Everything being filed. If you have filed your authorities, you have filed your submissions, I can get back to you in 14 days. How is the 11th of November for judgment if you want me to reserve a date? Thank you. So the program is that we shall hear these two petitions on the 21st of October at 10 a.m. and then everything concluded, we shall deliver judgment in the two matters on the 11th of 11. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, the Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo resigned from a position as the vice chairperson of the panel, citing the need to focus on a role in advancing justice through the LSK. The death toll from a cholera outbreak in Transmara, Narok County has climbed to 5, with at least 45 people admitted to hospital as health officials work urgently to contain the spread. County authorities have moved to shut down eateries and ban the sale of food in open markets as part of emergency measures to curb new infections. Water samples from affected areas have been sent to government laboratories in Kisumu for testing, following the latest death of a woman who sold vegetables at a local market.
The patients presented with a very watery, whitish, some greenish diarrhea and severe vomiting. Several patients came into shock.
Serikali yetu kuu kupitia Wizara ya Afya wanatufanyia continuous testing, wanatupatia technical support. Governor wetu amenunua motorbikes, ame
Paul Mackenzie, the main suspect in Shakahola massacre, has asked the court to stop prison officers from subjecting him to what he calls special treatment, saying it puts his life at risk. Speaking in court, Mackenzie said he's been forced to receive special meals and medical care without his approval, which he believes could be used to harm him. The self-styled preacher, who is accused of leading a starvation cult in Shakahola, Kilifi County, told the court he fears the medical attention he is receiving will be used to target him. Kenyans have been challenged to apply for their national identification cards and hasten the process of collecting them. Speaking during the launch of the Huduma Customer Service Week in Nairobi, Public Service CS Geoffrey Ruku said there was a backlog of vital documents lying uncollected in Huduma centers across the country. At the same time, the CS revealed that the government plans to expand Huduma centers from the current 59 to 290, ensuring each constituency has direct access to critical government services.
We are calling upon all Kenyans who have applied for IDs and passports and driving licenses and other documents. Please go to your nearest Huduma center where you made your application, correct your ID, correct your driving license, correct your passport. We have so many passports which are corrected, so many IDs which are not corrected. The entire of this week, we want to dedicate ourselves to giving Kenyans the best of ourselves in our offices.
The US has deported 10 people to Eswatini despite rights groups in Southern Africa straight mounting legal action to block the plan. This is the second bunch of deportees that the Trump administration has sent to Eswatini as part of its hardline approach towards immigration. Eswatini's prison department said in a statement that the 10 has been securely accommodated and posed no threat to the public. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning. I'm Winnie Maganga.
In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generations, the people's breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The people's breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
Welcome back. It is now 8 is 6 minutes past 8. So it is 8:06. Oh, yeah. Okay. Welcome back, gentlemen. We do have Martin Kabaya in studio and Bernard Jiri from the Institute of Public Finance. They're economists. A couple of questions that I have for you. Someone has actually reacted to some of the things that we have said here. Allow me to read Bob Gasheru's tweet. Amesema Nyota before ilikuwa inaitwa KYEOP, and it's funded by World Bank. It's a good project. The problem with Kenyans is they want to fight every government project without doing due diligence. Are you fighting the government?
No, that is that person's opinion. And he's not referring to these people. He said it's a problem with Kenyans. Yes.
All right. So,
and criticism,
yes,
or stating something contrary is not fighting.
It's okay. I mean,
it's preferring an alternate view. It's not fighting.
True.
Why is it that there are people, and I'm responding to that person, why is it that some people always treat a contrary opinion as a fight against the government? Why? It's a contrary opinion. And it goes beyond an opinion when somebody is providing you with facts. So the idea is when somebody provides you with facts, counter it with other facts.
Yeah, so he's saying...
See, when you read that Nyota program...
Right.
And that's why I talked about, flowery language being used. Because, it's targeting youth between 18 to 29 years. But there is a word used there, vulnerable. You see, that's so fake. Because how do the government assess me and say I am vulnerable? So
they actually have a formula for doing so.
I can tell you, the formula is there on paper. But when it comes now to the actual implementation, you will find the son of a member of parliament benefiting from that as a vulnerable
person.
You see where we have problems. So we are not fighting.
That's what you mean. I see.
Yes. We are not fighting.
It's not in corruption. It is in the implementation is where things go completely south.
They go completely south. Yes. So when we call out or when we, ask for accountability and transparency, we are not fighting. We are actually doing what we should be doing. As citizens.
Right. There's something you said that you wanted to get deeper into. Kindly let's get deeper into that. You can start by how we will from the point of that conversation.
Yes.
There's something you were explaining before we went off air.
Yeah, thank you. I was reflecting on the IMF program that Kenya decided to quit before it came to an end in April of this year, and Kenya, opted to bolt out because the government could not meet most of the structural benchmarks that had been set by the IMF. One of them is, at the debt sustainability theme of that program, there was the revenue-led fiscal consolidation. What that means is the government had committed to mobilize domestic resources so as to reduce the borrowing, so that our revenue and our expenditure side are in tandem. But when it came now to the actual implementation, let me give an example what happened in the financial year 2024-25, where we had 3 supplementary budgets. The first, in the original budget, revenue target was 2.9 trillion. Okay? In supplementary 3, the revenue target was 2.4 trillion.
Which year again was this?
Financial year 24-25.
Ile watu wali strike.
Okay? So you see, we have revised revenue down from 2.9 trillion
to 2.4
trillion. What happened to the expenditure side? In the original budget, the estimate, we had 3.99 trillion, but in supplementary 3, we had 4.04 trillion. So you see, we have moved our expenditure up, but our revenue side, we are revising it downward. So that tells you where the government gets it wrong when it comes now to the planning that City was asking, like, how do we formulate the budget? We start by, this is the amount of money we want to spend. Okay, we can raise this, then we add grants, but as the year progresses, we revise revenue targets down, but our expenditure side is sticky upward. So that disconnect has led us to where we are.
So when there's that disconnect, what then happens?
What happens is we borrow more than what we had even planned. If you read the financial year 24-25, actually the government exceeded the domestic borrowing target in the financial year 24-25.
Let me ask you, is this it the first time this is happening in Kenya?
It's not the first time that the government is revising revenue targets downward and keeping expenditure on the upward trajectory. And we have been raising these issues year in, year out. But are we comfortable with it? I remember you had earlier said people seem to be comfortable with that. We are not comfortable with that.
We are comfortable with it.
I disagree that people are comfortable with that because
if you put up with something, it means you're comfortable with it. If you're uncomfortable and you're quiet, I will assume you're comfortable.
But the demonstrations that came in the year 2024, last year, I think
the Gen Z protests.
The Gen Z protests is one indication that people are not really comfortable. Look at the way people are aggressively opposing additional revenue raising measures. It shows people are not comfortable. They can't keep calm anymore because they can't really feel how these taxes are working for them.
What exactly are people You've said it. It is how the taxes are working for them.
Yes.
The issue is in the tax.
Yeah.
You cannot
Service deliveries.
Yes, you cannot understand where it is that this money that is being asked for is going. So that is where you have a problem. Yes.
And that problem is what is causing, the level of aggressive oppositions that we see coming from the citizens.
The citizens who are protesting loudly are young. They are young, and they comprise 70% upwards of this particular population. And many of them are experiencing this position that we are referring to for the first time, and they don't like it. And there are a generation who speak out quickly and loudly. they will let you know what is on their mind. My generation didn't quite let you know what was on our mind. We tended to keep quiet and were subservient to authority. This generation isn't quite like that. They will speak to authority without hesitation and without due consideration of the consequence of speaking to authority. In many ways, it is a good thing. The reason why I'm asking this question is because we have not always had 58 million people in the country. We have actually never experienced what we're experiencing now in the country, not before. That is, of course, if my memory serves me right. There was a time when the people who were old and not necessarily youthful were very many.
Yes.
And so, in many ways, over time, they also simply understood that that is the way things work. When you are younger, it is easier for you to agitate for change. In fact, change agents the world over are always young, not old. The engine and the energy that brings about change, it's youthful people who are willing to expand their minds and to actually act on what is on their mind, as opposed to simply just talking about it. The question is, when we speaking about the situation that you find yourself in and what makes you uncomfortable and what you don't want, can that same mind go towards the solution that they'd like to see? Because you have a problem. If there's a thorn in my foot, I know the solution: remove the thorn. So is the solution, is it expressed in what we see in the statement, one term, Ruto must go? Is that what is thought of to be a solution to the problems that we have?
I think it's part of the solution in that, it keeps the government on toes.
It keeps the executive on toes.
At this time, allow me to use the word government, because when the agencies came out, they later started even calling out the judiciary. They did not stop at the executive and the legislature. They even brought the judiciary to the conversation.
They did.
Yes, because it's so annoying how some of these high-profile graft cases either corrupts or some people get acquitted.
Once again, let me ask the question: is it the first time we're seeing it in the history of this country?
It's not the first time, but the good thing is there is a way. I mean, there is something that that is happening, and that will bring the kind of revolution that I'm sure in your mind that's what you are thinking, like how can we change the status quo? So I think whatever is happening, gradually is what will lead us to the solution that people will say it's enough.
After they've said it's enough, then what?
After they say it's enough, then every time a person get into a state office, it's not business as usual, because right now you hear a PS talking like a politician.
PSs talk like politicians.
Okay? You hear directors talking like politicians.
They talk like politicians.
But
especially when you have an election around the corner. They have their jobs to look after. You do know that, don't you?
Yes.
By the way, when you see me asking this question, it's not as though I have an answer to them.
It's a difficult one, I know.
Yes, that is precisely my point. Yeah. That what to do is made to sound easy by the way people point to the problems, and yet providing a solution is not as easy as people think.
Sure.
It is assumed it is not. The easy part they seem to think is when you remove someone. That's what I have to ask. And then what?
I asked someone here once, a guest, alikuwa ameketi hapo kwanza Mali Bernard ameketi, na nikamwambia perhaps we need to wait for the government to run its term, then come the election we choose someone different. And then he countered my question with another one, and he was like, so tuendelee kuumia venye tunaumia saa hizi.
Yes.
Until that time.
The answer is yes, because you have chosen kuumia.
Yes.
So please, umia, by all means. Don't. In fact, umia kabisa.
At the end of the day, the constitution actually says itabidi umengojea whether you're happy or not, disgruntled or otherwise. You'll have to wait until the 5-year term is done, then go back to the ballot and make a change. And that change that you will make, you will have to live with that decision for another 5 years.
Not necessarily.
There are provisions.
Yeah, of course, there are provisions.
In the law.
There are provisions. But at the end of the day, make a choice and be prepared to deal with it for the entirety of its term.
No, you don't have to.
But City, okay, you do not have to. What are the options that people have?
Thank you so very much.
Right.
You see, yes.
Because
thank you so very much. For
I
that
want to
particular
understand
question.
what options they have.
Let me explain something to you, sir, regarding.
And when I say the people, I mean the people.
No, I understand the question you're asking.
Not parliamentarians.
And I'm happy about the question you're actually asking, because now we can have a real discussion.
Yes.
Does our constitution give us enough leeway and provisions for us to be able to remove a leader we do not want, even if it's midterm? That is my response to what you're saying.
Okay.
Because everything, remember, this constitution is a pact that we have with ourselves, not anybody else. And the understanding is that we will adhere to the norms of that constitution.
Yes.
The Uhuru government came in, and the first thing they decided to do was to slaughter certain provisions within that particular constitution that would enable us to do exactly what we're discussing. So it was weakened. It weakened the provisions of Chapter 6 that would enable us to decide this person can't stand, this one no. We have this list, and that is why we have somebody who shot someone in Parliament. We have somebody who was actually found guilty in Parliament. That is why we had people being appointed to state positions who had cases in court, people who should never have been in public service. It's because the provisions were watered down. Who by? The people whom we elected. So let's go back to basis. Can we hold these people to account and make sure they do what they're supposed to do? Because it's in the legislature where these things can actually take place. Not we can push, but it's those people who we give the power to be able to do and bring about these changes. We do not have to wait for 5 years.
So now
legislation can be brought in that enables you to do exactly what I'm trying to say.
Sasa CT.
Yes.
Wacha hata niongee Kiswahili, perhaps itatoka vizuri zaidi.
Are you suggesting that I don't understand English language?
No. This is actually for my benefit. Wakenya wamepiga kelele sana for the last 1 year plus. Wamepiga kelele, wameenda kwa streets, wengine wamekufa, wengine wamekuwa maimed, wengine wamepotea,
wengine wamevaa sufuria kwa vichwa.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Now, hao watu wenye wamekuwa wakifanya hiyo shughuli, kuna change yote ameleta, because the only change, to be honest, the only change I can see is someone we moved from here to there and another one from here to there, but nothing really has changed.
Oh, a lot has changed.
Okay,
actually.
Now people are still complaining about the same issues they were complaining about last year June. Kama ni high cost of things are still high cost. Okay, mimi nimerudi nikauliza aje, umepiga kura mwaka wa 2022, ulikuwa sasa unataka yule mtu ulipigia kura atoke, huo mtu bwana hujamtoa bado. Apart from a few governors here and there who've been impeached, and they've not been impeached by the people, they have been impeached by representatives of the people.
They've been impeached by the people because we elect these people
to represent.
Yes, and
have
that's
you
what they're
seen,
doing.
apart from the MCAs who have been having their own personal vendettas with their governors, and they go and impeach the governor, have you seen a random Kenyan saying that mimi sitaki governor wangu na huo akaenda akafanywa governor atolewe? Mimi sijaona.
No. That's why the discussion with the constitution.
Yes.
It is the provision of the constitution that enables those MCAs to do what they're able to do.
Ile kura utapiga 2027, wewe kuwa tayari kudeal na consequences mpaka 2032.
Actually, no, Paul.
No. Mimi nakwambia vinye vitu ziko kwa ground.
No, and I'm trying to tell you that is not true.
But you see what we are talking about in the constitution, it's very clear what we can do to even recall our MPs, right?
Actually, it is not clear.
But juzi tumeambiwa,
it's not clear.
But juzi tumeambiwa na koti, there is no, was it the court? So someone told us, yes, someone told us there is no legal framework.
It's the CEO of IEBC.
Yes. IBC. Now I remember.
Fellow,
Yes,
that fellow is still new.
Now, forget the fellow being new.
And he's new and he's giving us his opinion.
The office is very old.
There are people who have an opinion that differs from his.
Exactly.
Seriously.
So now, and this is the person charged with actually assisting us in that particular process.
He is the CEO of IBC.
Right.
He's not the Chief Justice.
Juzi tumepata a new deputy president, even after people said, oh, you see, we don't have an IBC, it's not possible to have a DP. But don't we have a DP?
We have.
Yes. Yet we were told we cannot have by-elections because there's no IBC.
But Paul, you're proving my point.
Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, we know that yes, tukitaka tunaweza mchuja, lakini boss tumetaka na hatujamchuja.
Hatujataka.
That's the point. But you see, I think there is a room in the Constitution. That is Article 1.
Yeah.
Because what happened in June last year, actually the Gen Zs showed this country it's possible. You know, they were so close to changing how things are done in this country. Because while it not for this broad-based arrangement, I'm sure the president would have taken enough time to listen to the people, like what kind of CSs do you want? Who like the people you feel they will deliver what you expect from this government. So I think there is a way people are changing gradually. Of course, it has to come from the young people because the old keep telling us they have seen it all.
Actually, it's not true. We have seen most of it, but not all. Yes.
Some say they have seen it all. And you see that's defeatist response, because it's like you are telling us.
Actually, it isn't defeatist. We think it is realistic. And I'm going to explain so that you understand. We have an advantage that young people don't have. We have been young. And we thought exactly the way young people think. If you look at any history of any country, the bulk of the people who have always fomented change are young. It's not even in this country. The people who are fighting the Mau Mau, they were not old. They were young people.
Yeah, they're like the dead and came.
They were not old at all. That first cabinet that we had and the MPs, they were elderly people who had been teachers who were appointed. But very many of them were young. People in the civil service, even permanent secretaries. We had people who were 29 and they were permanent secretaries. They were young. We had ministers who were barely 30. They were young.
Then it got to a point you got comfortable with the corruption levels. You got comfortable with inefficiencies in the manner public finances are managed.
No. The fundamental difference, that history I'm giving you, many of these people were actually patriotic. They genuinely wanted to see this country move forward, but they also wanted to show the colonialists that as Africans they could do things. That ethos got lost somewhere along the way. And that's where the statement now you are making becomes relevant. That is the fundamental difference. We are actually not patriotic as a people. We are not. Sisi, kama wananchi wa Kenya, we are not. We are self-centered, and we think of ourselves. When we expand that thinking, we think of the people closest to us, the people we do business with, then we move to the people who speak our language. It's the way we function. Gen Zs showed us something different, but the question is, are we willing to genuinely embrace it? Because that is hard work. Change is hard work. Looking at the Constitution and trying to ensure that you follow that Constitution, it is hard work. But the understanding has to be, there is no law if everybody who subscribes to it does not agree that they will follow it. The discordance is some want to follow it, others don't. They will fight tooth and nail to ensure that that particular law doesn't work. It is part of the problem we have here. The moment in this country you talk, you say the politics is involved. Something that is constitutional within the law is being fought. Somebody wants to introduce a new thinking that may be completely contrary to what the Constitution wants. And the appointments that we have also speak to the same thing.
There's a question here, Kabaya, and
Yes,
perhaps...
yes.
Oh, sorry, you wanted to say something?
Just to add or to pick it up from where City has left about people being patriotic and what the Gen Zs demonstrated that some of these things are doable if the people decide to bring change in this country. But I also feel that the media has also played a role in entrenching whatever we have been complaining about over the years, because look at the airtime that is given to politicians. Look at the number of invitations that politicians get to come and have a conversation after prime news, and that conversation it's so political. But look at the airtime that is given to educate the people on what they should be holding the government account on.
You do know that this is a media house, and you do know that we are on air, and you do know that you're not politicians.
We are not politicians.
And you do know that we've given you 2 hours to have this discussion. You are aware of all this.
I'm aware of this.
Okay, then continue.
But as a researcher, that's why I am bold enough to call this out, because
bold insight.
Yes, because we can't stop at this point. Like the whole of this month. Look at the airtime that we will go to political conversation and the airtime that we will go to talk about how SHA is not working for outpatient.
Actually,
okay?
I'll speak on
how social spending has been coming down in this country. How social protection is not surfing as like how much airtime is given for people to understand.
I get your frustration,
even at the grassroots level.
Bernard, I actually get your frustration, but I'll let you know. At Radio Generation, for instance, I won't hold brief for the others.
Yes,
we have specific days for all those conversations that you're talking about: education, health, even teaching the people, or rather civic education for the people, and political education also for them. And every time we're having a political conversation with a politician, actually we do hold them to account, and we extract that information that you're talking about, and we try and balance it out. We'll talk about education even with a politician. We'll talk about health with the politicians, because at the end of the day, these are the policy makers. So I don't know about the rest, but hapa hiyo tunafanya. There's a question
just one challenge.
Yes.
One challenge.
Yes.
If the next time, if you happen to invite maybe the CS Health, have one person from the very remote area in Isiolo, another one from Kwale or Taita Taveta. Okay, then they say before the CS whether they have benefited, for example, from SHA, using outpatient or not.
Okay.
Whether as a mother, who went for delivery and I had not enrolled for shift, whether government paid, was the maternal service free?
Okay.
Just because I was not enrolled on shift or SHA. Those terms are so confusing even to the citizens.
We actually have,
so that we hear that response, the CS responding directly to a mwananchi who has suffered from that.
Tuko na very robust feedback mechanism from Mwananchi, like the one I'm about to read for you right now.
Great.
So we have a very good listener who ni big fan number 1, anaitwa Sonnet anauliza, it would be nice if the economists can explain why the budgets should be balanced and why expenditure rather should be curbed. Kabaya, hii naona nikuulize. Should expenditure be curbed? Yes and why, or no and why?
Let me start here. When you look at our budgets, like this financial year that we are in, that is financial year 25-26. What is the budget? It's around 4.27 trillion. What are the revenue projections? 3.32 trillion. That is the total revenue projection.
Okay.
3.32 versus 4.27. What is the deficit? 900 billion. So, taking you back to our debt levels, we are at over 12 trillion as at now. And when you look at this financial year now, that is the 25-26, from 1st July until 19th September, we've borrowed 287 billion. 287 billion. And from the government plans, is that they have planned.
This billion is in shillings, pounds, or
Kenya shillings.
Okay.
Yeah, they have planned to borrow 613 billion from the domestic market to finance the deficit for this financial year. So if you do simple calculation, we've borrowed 287 out of the 613 that we are supposed to borrow.
What is our current budget again?
Our current budget is at 4.27 trillion.
And
the projected revenues is
collection.
3.32 trillion. Those are in trillions. Both are in trillions. So there is a from
deficit
the
of about 900
billion. So from this 900 billion,
domestic is 200.
we are supposed to borrow domestically 613 billion.
Okay.
So from these 613 billion, we have already borrowed 287 billion.
So there's about 400.
That is around 47%, barely the first quarter of the year.
No.
So the 53 that is remaining is for the other three quarters. So if you ask me if we need a balanced budget, I'll say yes.
What is a balanced budget?
A balanced budget is where whatever you've planned to spend, you are city, is the same amount. That is planning for your income, planning for the amount that you have.
So let's say, for instance, that we collect the 3.5 trillion.
Yes.
You're suggesting that our budget should be 3.5 trillion.
If it was possible, holding all other factors constant, we need to spend that.
Have we done this before in the country?
We've never.
We have actually.
We've done that.
We have. In the COVID period.
It's only that 1 year when our revenue exceeded.
No.
Yes.
In the COVID era, the year 2020, if you look at the budget that we had then and the expenditure, we did not spend more than what we actually collected. Just go back to your books and look at that particular period.
I'll confirm that.
Yes, that's why I'm saying it's only that 1 year. And remember, that time the government had capped expenditure.
Yes.
And that time the economy was recovering from COVID. And
actually, we're still in the throes of COVID and we're still suffering from it.
Yeah.
We haven't. The recovery came after that.
Yeah.
But I'm simply trying to say, I'm agreeing with you. This is
it's doable.
Yes. This is that actually is my point.
Yes.
Yes.
But there are other factors in that period that we must also look at.
Yes. These are the factors now that we should look at.
Yes.
See, I've told you the amount of debt that we have. So from this 4.27 trillion, we are going to spend 1.74 trillion in servicing our debt.
Lovely.
This period, this year. And from this 1.74 trillion debt service, 1.1 trillion is going to debt interest.
1.4 trillion is debt interest.
1.74
is the whole amount.
Is the debt service. That is total debt service. 1.1 trillion is the interest.
So about 600 billion
640
is going to
something
the
is going for redemption now of both domestic and external debt. So if you look at the ordinary revenues that we've projected for the coming year, we have projected 2.75 trillion as ordinary revenue. So we are assuming now we are using the revenues, the ordinary revenue. Ordinary revenue is the amount that
You and I pay for taxes.
Yes. So if we get a portion of this money that is going to debt interest only, it's around 40%. 40%.
40% goes to debt interest.
Interest.
40
for this year. 63% of the 100 bob that me and you will pay this year will go to debt service now.
So pesa gani inabaki hapa bro?
Imebaki ngapi? Around 36%. 37%.
Like for every 100 shillings.
63 bob
63 shillings
imeenda.
Is for paying debt.
Yes.
7 shillings.
Yeah, the rest of
what should support government operations,
counties,
transfer to counties,
and all that. So that's why it will be very difficult for us to operate now on a balanced budget. But now this is a pit that we are in, City, and we need now to come up with serious ideas on how to avoid borrowing and still offer public services and still repay our debt obligations.
Now, let me ask you.
But let me add this. Before I lose my line of thought.
Don't worry, add.
Yes. You see, we are talking about 37 shillings only being left for government operations, transfer to counties, and development. Over time, we have been borrowing, and then we say we are borrowing for development. But there is what is called return on investment. Because if you look at the economic survey, the
This is what you people call ROI.
Yes, return on investment. Because if I borrow today and I have a strategic investment, it should help me repay that debt when it falls due. But that's not what is happening at the time our debt is maturing. The country is struggling to repay. And we experienced that with the first Eurobond. When it fell due, the country almost defaulted. Because we borrow, there is a lot of leakage, and the kind of investment that is happening is not strategic. It's not helping the economy to spur sustainable development. Why do I say so? If you are, I go back to the economic survey, the 2025 economic survey. Our growth, the reported growth, the 5%, is coming from agriculture, fishing, and forestry, and it's a sector that is largely non-tradable. Okay, but
what do you mean when you say it's non-tradable?
Those are not goods that we necessarily sell in the market. Like our agriculture, much of it is subsistence. But you see, we quantify what our farmers have produced to feed into the GDP.
Can I ask you a
and
question?
The fish and the forestry.
Can I ask you a
yes,
question?
please.
Right now, if you look at statistics from the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, the number of indigent people who are likely to go hungry today is a growing number. It's not reducing. It was 4 million, it's 4.5, it's growing, right? Which points to a simple fact that we are not quite able to feed ourselves. Now the question I want to ask is, this subsistence farming that we speak of, if we were able to actually feed ourselves, whether through subsistence farming or through intra-county trading, so that the idea of people going without food was reduced to a bare minimal, to the point where statistically it would be relevant, would that make a dent in the issues that we refer to about balancing our books when it comes to expenditure? Because when you're talking about the income and the constraints on it, a lot of it has to do with the support that people who earn an income have to now offer to those who are close to them who don't have the same income as them. So when the government now asks for more money from this particular wallet, they feel that is untenable. They cannot see how they are going to cope with it. Is it possible that our ability to feed ourselves would actually be a huge boost to the things that we're discussing here.
Thank you. Let me say, what would help this country to run a balanced budget is investing in sectors that will help the country to raise enough revenue. And you see, we are not getting revenue from agriculture, forestry and fishing that is said to be contributing so much to our GDP. It's not giving that kind of revenue. But if the government invested in sectors that can, like manufacturing, for example, that can generate enough revenue, it would ease the fiscal pressure that we are talking about.
Can you just receive a phone call? Sorry,
yes,
I'm so sorry. Can you let's take this phone call. Radio Generation, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Sisi tuko salama. Kindly reduce the volume on your radio.
Yes. I've reduced it.
All right. What is your comment or question?
Yes, I've been following your conversation.
Yes.
On budget. And as a common mwananchi,
yes,
I just had an analogy. Mimi kwa nyumba yangu, what do I call budgeting? I budget kulingana na ile pesa niko nayo. Sio ati zile vitu naenda kununua kwanza ndio niseme natafuta hiyo pesa. Hapana, ninapata hii pesa alafu ninaibajetia rent ni hiki, kununua nini ni hiki, na zile siwezi ninawachana nazo. What is different in my house and in the government?
All right.
Why should the government start budgeting on what to spend to without knowing where to get that money, where they end up borrowing and they default on borrowing? What is the difference between me budgeting in my house and the government budgeting for us?
All right. Thank you so much. Gentlemen, you've heard what the caller has asked. The difference between budgeting in his house and budgeting in government. I'm sure you will tell us the huge difference, Kabaya. But here's a valid point.
Yes, exactly. He has a very valid point. Because in my thinking, if the government is to achieve this goal of fiscal discipline or fiscal health, the government need to start thinking as an individual. The way that caller said, what do I have? What do I need? And how do I facilitate my needs? So I cannot say I'm going to spend 300,000 while my salary is at 200,000.
How do we get the government to think that way?
It is by
I'm sure these guys think that way. See, they budget in their own houses.
No.
City has a very valid point. Because now the problem that we have is that the government or the people in, I'll say executive,
in the
authority, are not taking their positions or the economy where we are right now as a personal burden. You see, like for me, I will spend what I have. If I have to borrow, I will spend sleepless nights. I'll even go to a consultant to help me ensure that whatever I'm borrowing for will give me what we have called a return on investment to be able to repay the debt that I'm going to borrow. You understand that cycle? For you to borrow, City, you must have a plan, and a very good plan on how you are going to spend this money. And you can't borrow to go and spend the money in Dubai or somewhere.
Oh, they do. There are people who borrow. There are people who take circle loans.
But what happens?
Yes.
What happens to them?
You suffer.
Wanachoto, sindio?
So you see the other thing, when we talk about government borrowing and repayment, We had a room to curb this through the so-called zero-based budgeting, because the CS at that time had promised Kenyans. There was a town hall that happened
Who was that CS again?
at Desta. CS Buddy.
He talked about it.
He talked about zero-based budgeting. I remember that town hall that was at Desta. And, you know, he looked into the camera and said, come next financial year, even the cost of a pen will have to be justified. But what we saw in the 25-26 budget is just, you know, building on the previous budget, and then you just increase the numbers.
So
and that's where we go wrong.
What do you think happened? Because he sounded sincere.
He sounded sincere.
Yes.
But the sincerity was for optics.
Really?
That's what I can say.
Really?
You know, based on what I see in the 25-26 budget and based on what I see in the revenue projections.
So you're suggesting that he understood the reality of his job and the reality that the country is facing economically, but he was saying this just so that it can sound good.
Yes, and also to safeguard a job. You see, because
and if he knows that, then he would know it is not true. And if he knew it is not true, so you're saying he was oblivious to the fact that there may be consequences to what he's saying on him, because we only have one CS in that docket. It's him.
Yes, and that's why there is a need for a paradigm shift. You know, in terms of even the kind of narrative that we get out there. People need now to shift from saying pesa ya serikali imeibiwa. Government has no money. Actually, each citizen should say, my money has been stolen. Once we shape that conversation that way, people now will own it up. Like, you see, if I steal your phone here now, you will, you know, call the people outside to lock the door so
Actually,
that I can't.
I will not need to ask them to lock the door.
You deal with me, you know,
Yes.
here and now.
Yes.
So if people can now start saying, my money has been stolen, not government's money.
How do you get people to make that paradigm shift that you speak of?
It's through a forum like this one. We have this now. Like we can't, and that's why I keep saying we cannot give up. We have to keep this conversation.
There's a reality. There's a reality of not of our politics, but of our situation in the country, and it has very little to do with even in government service. Even if we look at the positions you now hold in the institution where you ply your trade, before you got there, there was an idea you had in your head of what that job would entail. When you got there, there are other things you couldn't have foreseen that you now had to deal with. Am I saying something that you have found to be true?
Yes.
Yes. Now, imagine you are in a political realm with all the fast-moving parts, because the parts in politics in this country are very fast-moving. And you have this rosy idea of the changes you want to bring, and then you enter there. Then the stark reality hits you. I am of this view. Sometimes what we think are optics may actually emerge from a sincerity, and you may try, but then the reality comes knocking and it tells you this thing you want to do can't be done. I am of that opinion. I'm also of the opinion that some of the promises that politicians make, at the time they're making them, they actually think they can do them. But there's a reality that they have not taken into account or they're not cognizant of. So when that reality faces them, that's when you see the wiggling and the moving around, because they now realize, now that's reality interacting with the idea or with the promise they made. That is my thinking.
Yep. There's a comment here by Ndongo Wainaina, and some initiatives created by successive governments since post-independence are illusions of action. Whether it is task forces, committees, youth funds, etc., they are all political deception tactics rather. How many years has youth fund existed? What has it ever achieved? Do we have anything that we can say the youth fund has done, or the women enterprise fund, or the hustler fund? To say, by the this, we can see that the economies of a certain area or a certain generation of people have improved because Women Fund, Youth Fund, Nyota, Kiop, or whichever.
But then Nyota, only 3% has been subscribed so far. With some of these things, there's an algorithm that is normally used. Like in this case, I think Safaricom is involved. My friend, you'll be disqualified. It's like that other fund which are you hustler. There are things that will disqualify you, so you may even apply. But remember, word of mouth is taken more seriously than anything else anyway. Please, continue. Yes.
But do they help? Yeah, Kabaya.
From my point of view, like the Youth Fund and the Women Enterprise Fund, I can say they help.
Okay.
Because when you have a group of, let's say, 10 youths, and you get a funding of like 100,000, and you know these are serious youths, I'm saying if it is done properly, and the vetting is done properly on the project that these people want to fund, it will impact on these people.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot put doubts on that. That's why we are saying we need to do that more, other than the tokenism or the things that we are calling empowerment. That is a very different thing from what is happening now.
All right. Sonette, thanks for providing figures, informative, albeit quite alarming. Robert saying insightful conversations. Yeah, I think that is as far as the questions online are concerned. Let me now, for us to understand what the IPF really does, and I remember, I know you said it at the beginning, but there's some individuals obviously who have come in late who do not understand. IPF, how long have you been in existence?
Since 2013. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. There's something, because I was looking at your website and I think I saw something like or.ke, right? OR inakwanga ya what kind of organizations? CSO, eh?
It's a CSO.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was actually very quite curious about that one. So IPF, you usually do this often with the government. Do you also do it with county governments?
Yes. At the county level, we have different programs. One of them being what we call Sauti ya Bajeti Mashinani. So for Sauti ya Bajeti Mashinani, IPF train the citizens, including the various groups, on how to read and understand county documents. You know, starting with the county integrated development plans, the annual development plans, as well as the county fiscal papers, the budgets at the
for the counties now.
For the counties. And
for all 47 counties?
We have presence in 27 counties currently. So once we train the people now, we also help them to understand what budget absorption means and also tracking expenditure. This is what is in the annual development plan. This is what was allocated for this program or project. This is the implementation level. This is the money that has been absorbed. So that now they are able to write submissions in form of memoranda to the county assemblies as a way of empowering citizens with information to hold the government to account. So that's one of them. We have another one called the primary health care. It's currently being implemented in Nakuru, Isiolo, and Laikipia County, where we have, you know, when we tell you what's working, what's not working, we have first-hand information from the ground. You know, how primary health care is failing the citizens, where, you know, we need some improvement on what need to be done. Then we also, at the national level, IPF light submissions. We, every time there is a call for public participation, we go there and we give submissions, be it on annual borrowing plan, MTRI, medium term revenue strategy, budget policy statement. We give all those submissions, including on the finance bill. Then we also engage the National Treasury. We also give our submissions there, and like Martin said, we try to, you know, have a buy-in from the National Treasury, because City has asked these questions separately.
Okay.
How can we get whatever the conversation we are having out here get to government?
Okay.
So I think it's also good as citizens we get ourselves into spaces where policies are being formulated, because if we make a lot of noise out here and we fail to engage the policy makers, constructively, we might end up losing a lot. So over time, there are some of the recommendations we have been making that have been adopted, others have not been adopted, but we have seen that kind of collaboration can help us get to where we would like to be. So city, let's not give up. There is still hope.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We have come to the end of the show. Martin Kabaya, thank you so much for coming through. Bernard Jiri, a pleasure. Tunawakaribisha tena. Let's keep the conversation going.
We will come when you invite us.
Already, this is an open invite. Feel free to come anytime.
Great.
All right, here is the news with Winnie Maganga.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The Nairobi City Water and Sewage Company has announced a citywide water disconnection exercise starting on October 15th, 2025. The disconnection targets all consumers with unpaid water bills as part of efforts to recover outstanding arrears. The exercise will affect all categories of users without exception, including government institutions, county agencies, commercial businesses, and domestic consumers. Kenya faces a major gap in practical understanding of public finance, a challenge the Institute of Public Finance is working to bridge. Bernard Njiri, an economist at IPF, says the issue arises because public finance is rarely taught in depth, even in higher learning institutions, where it is often covered only superficially. IPF analyzes how public resources are allocated and spent, looking not just overall allocations, but also at expenditure per person, equity, and efficiency.
The vision bearer realized we have a huge gap in Kenya because this thing called public finance is not taught, in depth, even in our institutions of higher learning. It's just touched superficially as a unit. But now when you look at public finance, in practice, it's so deep. And remember now we have a default system of government. So we came in now to fill that gap, to first look at the way public resources are allocated. We look beyond allocations now to analyze expenditure.
Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sing'oei says that most Kenyan nationals captured fighting in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war are victims of manipulation and human trafficking. In a statement on Monday, following a meeting with the Ukrainian ambassador to Kenya, Yuri Toka, Sing'oei assured him that the government of Kenya is doing everything possible to protect vulnerable citizens. The PS requested the support of Ukrainian ambassador to have the captured Kenyans access consular assistance and repatriation back to Kenya. This comes amid reports of Kenyan nationals captured by Ukrainian forces while on the front line. The Council of Governors has dismissed reports by the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union alleging that 136 babies have died in Kiambu County, terming the claims false and politically motivated. In a statement on Monday, The council said it has noted with great concern a false publication by the Doctors' Union regarding the state of healthcare services in the county.
The council disassociates from the headline about the death of 136 babies and categorically states that it is not factual. We urge the Ministry of Health and KMPDU to stop politicizing health and leave the level of government with the mandate to run it.
Meanwhile, the KMPDU issued a scathing condemnation of the Council of Governors, accusing them of downplaying the crisis by terming the widely reported deaths as pure mischief and false publication. The International Criminal Court has found former Sudanese militia commander Ali Muhammad Ali, widely known as Ali Kushaib, guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity committed during brutal attacks in Darfur in the early 2000s. The court ruled that Ali was responsible for multiple atrocities, including rape, murder, and torture, which took place between August 2003 and at least April 2004. Presiding Judge Joanna Connor said the chamber was convinced that the accused is guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the crimes which he has been charged. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Good morning and welcome back to Radio Generation. 7 minutes past 9 o'clock. It is time for us to have our second and final conversation of the day. Yes, with us is the Senior Manager, Digital Experience and at KCB rather. That is Kevin Matthews Okeo. Karibu tena sana sir to the studio. This is one of the most exciting days because we've been actually having conversations about the economy, finances, budgeting, and now we actually get into talk with another expert matters finance. So karibu tena sana. Maybe you can let us know a little bit about the digital finance services at Kenya Commercial Bank.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for that introduction. So what about digital financial services? The digital financial services, that's the DFS team within the KCB group. Is the department that is tasked with digitizing the bank's operations. So everything from the mobile banking that we're going to speak about shortly to the internet banking towards even digitizing the operations of the bank and making work easier for both our stakeholders, our colleagues and our customers. So it's the unit that is tasked with basically developing these particular digital products, working with the various teams and departments to ensure that they actually see the light of day.
Right.
Yeah.
KCB has actually been on the digital space for a very long time. I think actually you were one of the first banks, if not the first one, to get into that space and start offering digital services to your customers. Perhaps you can let us know a couple of those services that we can access through the banking app that KCB Mobile is.
All right. So for the past couple of months, we've been working really hard together with our customers to revamp the mobile banking. Our first launch for the mobile banking was about 8 years ago. And as you know, technology has really, shifted. Phones have been upgraded. There's more powerful technology that is out there. And when we did an assessment, we reached out to our customers and realized that what their needs have actually shifted. So last year we embarked on a journey to now improve this particular experience by building an app that will, an app for the future. where you're able to access all of your banking, stuff from within the application. So we sat down with our customers. We asked them what they need, and went back into our drawing board. And we started mapping out each and every unique customer journey that customers can be able to experience. So what you realize is customers today do not have time to visit a brick and mortar branch, for example. They have reached a point where they've been frustrated. They're looking to switch their banks. Customers have turned 18. They have gone to school. They're being asked for their bank account number should they want to access their help facilities. So what we did is we sat down and we seamlessly drew up all the customer journeys that we'd want our customers to experience. So what that means is for you to be able to access the KCB mobile banking app today, all you need to do, if you have a smartphone user, you just go to the different Play Stores. That's Play Store for Android, iOS, you have the App Store, Huawei, you have an app gallery. Search for KCB mobile or search for even banking app in Kenya. You'll be able to get that, download. We take you through a process that does not take more than 5 minutes. That means within 5 minutes, you're able to download the application, take your various selfies, for example, for us to just verify it's you, of your documentation, and you're able to open your bank account there. Once you do that, then we give you a whole world of, banking banking and payments facilities, which you're able to enjoy from the comfort of where you are. So from digital account opening to accessing the various services, that is, should you require to save, for example, you're able to access a fixed deposit immediately. You're able to start saving for your goals, what you're calling we're able to start saving for your goals. Should you have a holiday plan for December, for example, you're right now stuck in the start of October, you're able to start saving for that and keeping your money aside. We have different modes that we have exposed within the application. Should you require to, let's say, pay for your bills, you don't need to move money across different mobile banking to digital mobile money, for example, for you to be able to pay for your KPLC tokens, for example. Able to do that seamlessly from within the app. Should you have payments that you want to make, water payments, you're able to do that from within the application. Even we have provided access to our customers to be able to pay for different, bills. Maybe you've gone out with your friends, you're enjoying a cup of coffee, for example, or having a meeting and someone needs to pay for that particular bill, you're able to do that from within the KCB app. So what we're looking at is creating an ecosystem or a platform that allows our customers to be able to embed the app within their lifestyle, so that you don't have to really worry too much about movement of funds. You're able to view your real-time balances from within the app, and you're able to enjoy the full suite of what the platform has to offer.
And what if I'm out of the country, say I'm in Uganda? Am I able to use the same services online?
Yes. If you're out of the country and let's say you're within the East African community, for example, if you have the application, you're able to use it seamlessly.
So what if I'm in Dubai?
What if you're in Dubai? The application works wherever you are.
It's because you've specifically mentioned if you're in the East African community.
Yes. No. We have customers who have traveled across the world as far as China, and they're still able to access the same banking services that a Kenyan is able to access. So the question that actually even came just the other day was a customer who was in Saudi and wanted to access the application from there. They were able to seamlessly access and make their payments from where they are. So we don't limit you from the geolocation. As long as you're a KCB customer, you're able to access the app from where you are.
What does that mean for security then? Because if I can open that account anywhere in the world, that means also someone else can.
Yes. So we have different security features that we have put into the platform. Because some I cannot reveal.
Okay.
But there's enhanced security for you to be able to use the app. So number one, for us to be able to verify that it is you, we partnered with one of the major telcos for us to be able to validate that particular mobile phone number. So that means is we retrieve the number as opposed to you entering. What that does is it offers even the customer more security, because you don't need to, number one, think about someone entering your number for them to try and accessing your mobile app. It's a very enhanced security feature which we worked on tirelessly, and we were happy that it was able to see the light of day. Once we released it, customers are happy. Of course, they had various questions that they were asking: why should I have my data turned on before I access? Can I use the app on Wi-Fi, for example? But remember, all we need you to do is ensure that the SIM, for us to be able to validate that it is you, and it's for your own security, for us to secure your account, ensure that your SIM is in your device, and it's a one-off check that we do. Once you do that, you're able to switch to Wi-Fi seamlessly, and you're able to continue utilizing the app as and when you please. So it's just for that first check. We check, we confirm, and just to avoid a lot of issues that we have faced, and even different partners have actually faced within the market.
What are some of these issues that you faced, if I may ask?
So the issues that I faced, number one, it's just the normal issues. We have had huge cases of, number one, I've sent you money, or I've not sent you money, quote unquote, and you receive an SMS and you're told, for example, your child is sick in school, please send money to this number. And
for fraudsters,
fraudsters, yes. And for lack of a better word, you actually know that there's nothing at fault. But remember, in a mass market as we are in Kenya, you have different dynamics and different customers who are actually using your application. So some are able to decipher that fraudster message, and some are not. So what you've seen is industry-wide, there's a lot of sensitization around hashtag Kachonjo, which is, I think, I don't know, I hope you bank with us. What you see is there's a lot of sensitization about: do not share your customer PIN with anyone, do not share your OTP with anyone. If someone calls you from a banking institution and pretends that they're from the bank, please verify. We will not call you to ask you for your PIN or OTP at any given point. Right, so that has been an industry-wide sensitization that has been happening, and it's just to ensure that we're able to protect the customers' funds at the point where they need. And it's running on different media platforms. We're sending SMSs. It's on our social media platforms. You'll see that, and we just sit with the customer to see what they're going through for us to be able to address those particular needs. Yeah.
In terms of the user interface of the app, just how easy or difficult is it? And the reason I'm asking this is because a lot of folks, especially those who are not tech savvy, and it's the older folk who sometimes will be like, sasa hii ebu nisaidie kuwithdraw pesa, and they'll hand it over either to a grandchild or a child of their son, daughter, to help them with the transaction. How easy or difficult is it to use this app?
So we did a bit of study with our customers, ranging from 18 all the way till 65. Of course, we bank a lot of Kenyans. And what we did is we tried to look at what interfaces they're actually used to using. So what you'll notice within the new KCB mobile banking app is it mimics sort of what you would have on your traditional, let me say, Android or iOS device, where you have your mobile phone user interface, you have the various applications that you're able to pick seamlessly, you're able to search for these particular applications. So if you look at the new KCB mobile banking app, it has made discoverability of these particular services easier. Whereas before, customers needed to navigate to a different page to view their balance. In this particular new app, the balance is right there. The commonly used services, we have availed that to the front of the customer. Customers are able to customize even their let me say, products based on what they frequently use. So, for example, if I do a lot of send to M-Pesa payments, I'm able to customize that. If I do a lot of utility payments, let's say I'm paying for my Nairobi home, then I'm paying for upcountry, I'm able to bring the KPLC postpaid service on front, or prepaid service or up front, so that I'm able to quickly access these particular services. We have simplified the interface in a way that allows our customers to even discover other services that we actually offer, which a lot of customers do not know. Insurance, for example, customers are able to renew renew the insurance. Let's say you've been caught in a situation in traffic right now, and you're wondering, where am I going to get my insurance sticker? You've called your agent, they're not picking up the phone. Within the KCB app, you're actually able to go select insurance, select motor vehicle, give all that documentation, and you'll have your insurance sticker there right with you in your email. Yeah,
really.
So, yeah. So it's a lot of services that we have really packed, and we have tried to simplify it for our customers as much as possible, including even card services. Right now, you may have an urgent need to pay for something online, for example. You don't have your card with you. You're able to quickly go to the KCB app, access the cards section, request for a virtual card, do that particular payment seamlessly without needing to worry about, I need to go to the branch, I need to make time, I go and collect a physical, let's say, prepaid card, for example. We're able to do that from within the app. And should you even have now a prepaid card, because we have just launched the multi-currency prepaid card, you're able to quickly access that those particular services from within the app, transfer funds from between different currencies. Let's say you've traveled, the travel case that you actually said.
Yes.
And let's say you're in Dubai and you have funds in your multi-currency prepaid card in Kenya shillings, you're able to quickly move those particular funds to dirham, because we offer about 18 different currencies from within the digital, let me say, the multi-currency prepaid card. So there's a lot of services that we have actually embedded in, and we have made discoverability so easy, and we continue to listen to our customers to improve on these particular offerings that we have. Yeah.
I want to go back to the old folk again. How did you convince those guys to allow you to have their money like that on an app and have it that convenient? Because I've interacted with a lot of these folks, yeah?
Paul,
and
is the money really in the app or is it in the bank?
It's in the bank, but unajua anajua pesa iko kwa simu. Yeah, anajua nikifinya hapa pesa itapatikana.
You do know I qualify to be an old person, so.
Yes, but you're
what?
You're extraordinary. You're not.
Hapana, wacha kunipaka siagi.
How do you convince these people, to actually use this app where everything like all the money is there, whether they want to withdraw, transfer, do all that. Yeah. Because wow, tunajuaga saa zingine unakuanga skeptical.
Yeah. So it's with the, let me not call them old folk, with our older segment of customers, they're very let me say interesting and curious.
We are cautious.
Cautious, yes. Very cautious. Very cautious about their funds, very cautious about their money, and they want to see things moving in real time. Right? So the first thing I spoke about was the security item, which allows you to know that you're the only one who can actually access that. If your SIM card is in the device, you're the only one who can actually access those particular funds. So that's one thing that we are really pushing forward towards sensitization for our customers. The second item was where they are able to see their funds moving in real time. So when you do a transaction, you get a notification. Not only do you get an SMS, you get an in-app notification that shows you where the funds have moved. So whereas in the previous app you could not get these particular notifications, in the new app, in-app, you're able to see that I've actually made this transaction. You're able to request for a verified, let me say, mini statement to see these are the transactions that I've actually done within the past X number of days. So in terms of transparency with our customers, customers are able to view that. Yes, there's a sensitization that we're actually doing with all of our customer segments to ensure that it's all inclusive, because at KCB we're for people for better, and all our customers actually contribute towards building the future that we want to see in the financial services space. So we work with the different customer segments. Even right now, we're busy conducting studies to ensure that we get all this feedback coming back in. And the app should be as seamless to use for an 18-year-old the same way it would be to use for a 70-year-old.
Okay.
That is our main aim, because once we actually manage to achieve that, then we are able to propel KCB towards the future. Yeah.
In terms of innovation, I've heard a lot. You're talking about all the services that can be found in there. Are there any other accessories that come with digital banking at KCB, for example, are their wearables. Other banks have got different gadgets, devices, from rings to bangles to spectacles that can be used for banking. Is it something that you've also developed? Ama hiyo ni story ya baadaye?
In terms of wearables, what we're working on within the new KCB app, of course, in partnership with our different card providers, is you'll be able to utilize your phone to tap what we're calling tap to pay. So what you've seen in the market is there's different wearables that customers are using, rings, bangles, for them to be able to do the payment. Now, KCB, we're going a step ahead of this, where we are actually embedding that particular functionality within the application on your phone, such that now all you need to do is, in case you've forgotten, let's say, your cards and everything, and you want to make a payment at a point of sale device, all you need to do is tap your phone on that particular device, and you're able to complete that particular payment. Yeah, there is a program that is being run across the bank in terms of wearables. The first step of this is now just to do the tap to pay, where customers are able now to utilize these particular services today as we speak here. Yeah,
nice, good stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned the multi-currency card. I presume it is a debit card, or is it a credit card?
It's a prepaid card.
It's a prepaid card.
Yes, correct.
You mentioned 17 currencies.
Yes.
I want to understand the thinking behind determining which currencies to have in it.
So we have at KCB, our customers travel. They travel a lot. Yeah, and the partnership with the card provider ensured that we got this particular study where we see the different corridors where our customers go. So, for example, you have Kenyans who travel a lot to China, for example. That is a give or take, because they travel there, they buy their items directly from China, then they come back and resell those particular items in Kenya. You have customers who frequently travel to South Africa, for example, the US, Saudi Arabia, for example, Dubai. So what we did is, based on the data that we actually look from where customers are going and where KCB customers actually are, the requests that are coming in, that was packaged into now the prepaid card arrangement, which we have to offer these customers this particular option.
So, when you say it's prepaid, what it means is this: if I go to one of the countries that you've mentioned, I am then enabled to use this card seamlessly.
Correct.
Okay, now when I load the card, I can load it in Kenya shillings.
Yes.
And I will be given a favorable exchange rate for my shilling.
Yes, based on what you negotiate.
Yes,
able to get a favorable rate. Yes.
Okay. Now, many prepaid cards can also be. It can also enable you to access cash on an ATM. So it means when I visit these countries and I wish to access hard currency, that this card can also be used to provide me with the currency, depending on how much money, of course, I have in my card. Is that what it can do?
Yes, correct. So remember, once you get the prepaid multi-currency card, you can load it in Kenya shillings, or you can even load it in, if you have a USD account, you can load it in USD. Now, for you to move funds amongst the different currencies, you're able to do that. So let's say, for example, I'm in Dubai and I want to access dirhams, for example. I move funds from within the app. I'm able to move funds from my KES multi-currency prepaid card, let me say, for lack of a better word, wallet to the dirhams wallet. When I move it there, I'm able to see this is how many dirhams I have, and actually can now go and utilize those particular funds.
Okay.
So it makes it easier. You know how when you travel, usually the biggest headache that you have is trying to convert dirham, Kenya shillings. How much do I have? How much am I losing? And a lot of people usually have a notebook where they write, or they really struggle with the different foreign exchange apps out there, because it's like, okay, these guys are telling me it's 100 equivalent is 1,000. How is that translate? And by the time you go back to your home or your hotel room, you do the calculation and you're like, oh man, I overspent. So here you're able to really quickly say, I'm planning to spend 10,000. move that, and you know this is how much I'm spending. It removes the headache from trying to manage all those.
It does all that for you.
It does all that for you, correct.
Now, let's move back to Kenya. I have this card, and I have populated it adequately with, say, US dollars.
Yes.
Do you have ATMs where I can withdraw US dollars from?
ATMs where you can withdraw US dollars from, that one we'd really have to confirm. But I know they were there at some point. But we really I'll need to
confirm.
I'll need to confirm that.
There's a reason why I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Because let's say, for instance, you see where ATMs work. I may need money at 7. I'll go to an ATM. I may have a need for dollars or euros
at 7.
Yes, I may. Why look at me in such a puzzled way?
I'm actually I'm interested in knowing at 7 why you need dollars in Kenya, that is.
Well, I'm curious to understand why you'd be interested in why it is I need the money.
All right, answered.
Okay, so so I'd like you to be able to access those particular funds.
Yeah.
But remember, even within the app, if you have a US dollar account, you're able to utilize it and move funds from your US dollar account towards where you want to send to, because these services are actually there for our customers. So in terms of needing physical cash, I don't know which use case that would be.
Actually,
what that would be there.
My question points to what you were talking about.
Yeah,
I am of that generation that likes cash. This money in the air that we move on our phones, I understand it, yes, but I actually like the idea of having money in my hands, and I'm sure not the only one. Just like I like the idea of actually going to a banking hall. And it's not that I don't understand. I can do all these things as you were suggesting. I actually do. But going to talk to people and meeting them, that in itself is an experience that I actually like, and the other people actually like. So my question, when you come up with the research that gives you the data and the information that you then use to provide the services that we are talking about, is there a channel or is there a facility that the bank has created where you can constantly keep getting feedback on the usage of this particular card or on other products that you may have?
Yes. So our customers constantly reach out to us, and what you notice is KCB is platform wide in terms of social media where you can reach us. In terms of feedback, of course, aside from the traditional email or calling the contact center, we do have a seamless channel for WhatsApp where you can actually reach out to us for feedback. You can be able to view our different social media pages. That is Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're on X. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube as well. We're on TikTok for the generation that prefers TikTok. So we are in various platforms, and what we do is what we call our sentiment analysis, where we're able to see what customers are saying, the feedback, whether it's positive or negative. We pick that up. We review it. We what we call triage it, where we look at, okay, what are these things that customers are saying that we're going to be able to improve. All this data that we use, including even through the different branch champions and branch channels, we're able to pick all this data. We triage it. And all this forms part of what we do continuous improvement on, so that now that one customer who has come in and they're very disgruntled, they're really struggling, we're able to pick that up and really address those particular needs, because that one customer is a representation of the different customers that we have out there within the market. So we actually have those particular channels that you're able to use here.
Guess what, City? You can actually withdraw dollars from a KCB ATM to actually current shopping center and waterfront.
That's still in current.
Yeah. So there's one at the shopping center, alafu ingine kwa waterfront, first floor. Kipanda, unaweza withdraw.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you know.
My question has been answered.
Yeah.
So he was right when he said yes. He knows that they actually exist. Now you've given us details of where they exist.
Where exactly?
Okay.
Yeah, but if you search, you can get more ATMs that you can withdraw from in case you're in different locations in the country. Let's talk about KCB Vuma. Yeah, tell us a little bit about more about that service.
About the Vuma service. So, the KCB Vuma product is one of our flagship products that we released. And it allows customers to be able to open the wallet just for payment purposes. So you may be a customer who's looking, you have your, but I'll encourage you to open a KCB bank account either way.
Yes.
But you have your bank in a different bank,
yes.
but you still want to enjoy the seamless services that KCB wants to offer, but you are hesitant about opening a bank account.
Okay.
So what we do is we bring you in through the Vuma
platform.
The Vuma platform. You're able to number one, come onto Vuma, start making your payments, and the minute you see, hey, there's something here that KCB is onto, then you're able now to start accessing more services. So Vuma,
When you say payment, sorry,
Yes.
when you say payment, like give me a service, a payment I need to make.
A payment you need to make. Okay. So part of the new app, what we're doing is we have different modes. Yeah. So I'll look at you and I'll say, okay, now you probably are into sherehe.
Yes, I am actually.
Sherehe.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. You're meeting your couple of friends over chama, and what you see is you realize they have KCB Vuma Chill at that particular spot. So what you do is you're able now to make payments, what you call sherehe mode, where you pay directly from your Vuma app to that particular till for Vuma as well. And you're also able to, if you're a KCB customer, you're still able to access the same kind of service to move funds from your KCB account to this particular Vuma till or Lipana KCB till.
So it's actually like a till or a pay bill.
It's a till.
So
yes.
I can receive money
Yes.
on Vuma.
Yes,
So
as
if
a
I'm,
merchant,
yeah. So if I'm selling Vitungu, I can actually have a Vuma till.
Yes.
Yes. I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
And you're able to seamlessly accept payments from KCB customers and from Vuma customers because it's one ecosystem that we are building and it's one ecosystem that we're pushing out there.
Yeah.
Yes, walk us through the benefits that somebody who would like to open a Vuma account would probably understand before they do so. What are some of the benefits?
So the Vuma platform allows you to be able to make payments. Yeah, similar to how the KCB platform allows you to make payments, the new KCB platform. So what happens is we meet customers at their points of needs where they want to make payments, what I mentioned earlier, but they're hesitant about opening a full relationship with the bank. Yeah, because there's a lot of I opened this bank account 10 years ago. I don't want to move. Tell me why I want to move.
It has
There's a lot of
sentimental
comfort.
value. Yeah.
But what you realize is the industry has really changed. Yeah, it's become very fast paced. If we don't meet customers at their points of need, then they're going to shift and move towards other providers. So the Vuma platform came in to cater for this particular need, where you're hesitant, you don't know what you want from the bank, but you know you want to be associated, you've seen it, you have downloaded it, you want to make payments seamlessly. Merchants were willing to put in the Vuma branding for them to be able to attract this particular Vuma customer, but within it you're still able to access even the KCB customer themselves. So it's creating that whole network where when you see I can actually make payments at a Vuma till or at a Lip and a KCB till, you're able to do that. And guess what? Payments are actually free for customers. If you're going to move funds from your KCB bank account of your Vuma payment wallet to the Vuma till or the Lip and KCB till, the funds actually move seamlessly because remember they're moving within the same ecosystem. So for customers who are price sensitive, they're doing frequent transactions, they actually now start valuing that particular service more and more and more. Yeah.
Simpatia watu wa petrol station easy till numbers za Vuma, because every time I'm buying fuel I am usually charged some amount of money and I don't like it.
That's why I told you when you pay cash, you don't have these problems.
Yeah. But sometimes you're buying a lot of fuel different times. The point is, pateni watu wa petrol station.
Do you trade in fuel? Do you trade in fuel or do you just buy it for your fuel?
Whatever I do in terms of trading in fuel, it should not bother you. KCB M-Pesa. Every time I open my M-Pesa app, or not app, but the SIM toolkit, I usually see it there, and it's been there for a very long time. Yeah. Is the services are they still the same as they were some 10 years ago?
10 years ago is relative. But 10 years ago,
a lot has happened in 10 years.
It is laughing.
10 years ago, I was younger.
Because I think you can access a KCB loan there.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So KCB M-Pesa is one of our partnership products that we actually did with Safaricom, M-Pesa that is. And 10 years ago, of course, we didn't even have an app that you're able to access today. So today you're able to access the KCB M-Pesa mini app from within the KCB app, and also from within the Safaricom app. You're able to access the KCB M-Pesa loan, of course, for example. You're able to do your target savings, your goal savings from within that particular environment. So it's also a similar offering that we actually have done in partnership with the telco provider, and it allows us to reach our customers even more and offer them those particular services when they need it and at their comfort.
I've ever actually taken a KCB loan from that M-Pesa to SIM toolkit. Then years later nikakuja kuwakopa pesa tena mkaniambia ati sina limit. Would you be knowing what happened? Because you gave me before I paid, by the way, just to be clear.
You pay on time.
I actually did pay on time.
That's what you say.
Yes. No. I paid on time.
Okay.
Yes. And the reason I'm asking is because I thought I was a very good customer. So kukuja kukopa siku ingine, but it was after 2, 3, maybe 5 years. Kuja kukopa nikaambiwa ati wewe una limit.
Did you still have a KCB account?
No, I've never. For that one, you don't need an account.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I've never had an account.
These guys gave you money, and now you're complaining they didn't give you money again.
No, actually, yes. Essentially, that is what I'm doing.
All right. So remember, what we encourage is regular usage of our products.
Okay.
Because it makes it's the difference between you being an active customer and you being an inactive customer. Maybe at the point where you borrowed, you really needed the funds, and then after repaying, you left us, and you went and you had now more money than you could speak. Then you came back. Then at some point you realized, hey,
I need these guys.
I have an emergency. I need to borrow some funds and all those things.
Yeah.
But remember now, when we gave you funds and you paid back, then you disappeared. Now we didn't know you at this particular point. Then by you disappearing, then you don't even build a profile with us. So we were wondering who was this guy who was coming back to try and access the platform.
Yeah.
And 5 years is a long time. You can imagine 5 years what has happened even in the country in 5 years. Even KCB in 5 years, what we've managed to change within these particular 5 years, and even the new app that we have actually launched. You would not have imagined that this would have been happening within this particular year, but this is what we actually managed to build and release within the past couple of months. So when you think about financial services, and that's what I was telling you, banking moves very, very fast. Is what you were able to access 5 years ago, this year has actually changed. So for you to be able to access, let me say, those particular funds, maybe you should try and download the KCB app and go through the process, and you'll see maybe we have an offer for you at the very end of your onboarding journey.
What is the lower limit of borrowing? So like for a new customer like myself, although I'm not new, because you guys, I interacted with you before, I actually want to
just try it.
Yeah. So what is the lower limit for a new customer? Like City.
Like City, different customers go through different scoring profiles based on how well we know you, and they're able to receive different limits. Because you're also digitizing the whole entire process of limit allocation, trying to see where customers are coming from, trying to assign them those particular limits. And our encouragement for a customer perspective is we encourage daily usage. Your recency, your frequency, your monetary value, how much you transact within the app. really contributes a lot towards your credit limit. So don't just come into the app and sit and wait for a limit. Use it. That's why I was telling you all these different services that we have to offer, where you don't need to move funds specifically from the mobile banking app to different apps. You're able to make the payments from within the app. Let the money sit in, make the payments at your convenience. If you want to send money, you've gone to wash your car, you're paying for matatu, you're paying for fuel. If you're able to do that from within the app,
yes,
can you imagine how much of usage we're able to see that this is a customer who's actually really engaged with the platform, and we're able to actually even now start building your credit profile from there. And it's not something that KCB alone is doing. It's also done abroad. When you go to the States, when you're trying to build your credit score, you're encouraged to start making transactions that are visible towards the bank. Because remember, when you move funds outside, we don't know what you're using these funds for, right? But we have offered you all this convenience of moving funds from within your bank account. So why don't you just retain the balance within the bank account and start moving funds, and you'll be able to see. We have an interesting feature, which we released with a new app called Scheduled Payments. So what that does is,
it's like a standing order.
It's like a standing order, but you set it at your convenience. So if you have regular payments you're sending, let's say to your
ISP,
you have your ISP payments,
rent,
you have your rental payments, you have school fees, various things that you'd want to do. We have opened up that service to our customers to be able to set it at their convenience from within the app. So regular payments that you make, whether you want to even have today in the offices a lot of people eat mandazis, and the mandazis are delivered, and every morning I'll be taking 2 mandazis.
Nakulanga za 150.
The 150. You're able to set that as an STO to just avoid as a scheduled payments towards the provider regularly, so that now you don't need to struggle and wonder, do I have 50 shillings, do I have 100, do I have what, and everything. Just set it up. They'll be receiving it every morning at 7 a.m. in the morning.
So my mandazi guy just knows, yani ya mbuvi imeingia mandazi 10
ndio hapo kwa meza.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But now you see, the thing about standing orders is that sometimes I might have set up an order for 150 bob every single morning to go to my mandazi guy who is city. Then now this morning my app is empty, it doesn't have cash. Now what happens to that? Will I be penalized, for example, or will it just send me a message and tell me you do not have enough funds to pay city for your 10 mandazis?
Oh yes. So we do even better. We remind you the day before of your upcoming payment. So you don't need to really worry a lot, because you will get the reminder the day before that you have an upcoming payment that is coming in. And this was done, like I told you, we listened to our customers, and customers really gave us this particular feedback. So we remind them, hey, you had a scheduled payment for this. This is a reminder that your scheduled payment is still set to run. So even you, if you let's say if you had set for that mandazi, and let's say you've taken the day off, or you're not available on that particular day,
I'm able to stop
that particular run from happening on that particular day. We give you confidence from setting daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly, quarterly as well. So the flexibility is there within for the customer to be able to choose when you want it to run, when you don't want it to run. We send you a reminder. You're able to act upon it. Should you want to continue with that particular service, or even now remove it?
Because it would be crazy. I've just money has been deducted from my account, and I didn't check. Then I'm at the petrol station, nimemwambia weka 1000 kwenda kulipa, naona insufficient funds. That would be something.
But don't worry, we also got you covered. We call that broke mode. So there's different modes that we have actually catered for our customers.
Within the app there's a broke mode.
Within the app there's a broke mode. If you don't have chums, you've gone.
Look at this guy smiling. All along He was talking with a very serious face. The moment you mentioned broke, and you suddenly the man is just beaming.
It's because now I'm thinking about moving to KCB.
Let's hear about this broke
What do you mean you're thinking about to move? Move to KCB. It's the right time to move right now.
Mukona broke mode.
Mukona broke mode. You're able to access your KCB mobile loan from within the app. Customers have limits and they're not utilizing. You can imagine that. So when you've reached that point, we call it kona ya mwezi. Kona ya mwezi, where you're looking and it's looking really long. The 5 or 10 days before payday is starting to look like a whole 30 days that is left.
You have no idea.
Just enter the app, go to KCB mobile loan, access your limit, draw down, and you're able to repay it. And you actually offer very flexible tenures for our customers. Maybe it's 1 day. That 1 day that you're thinking about, I've got an emergency, I have some facility somewhere, quickly access it, repay it, 7 days, 30 days. So it's the flexibility is yours as a customer to be able to select on how long you need the funds. So don't get stuck paying for fuel. Just get the app and be able to access your loan.
Siti, are you looking at me as though I was living in the Stone Age?
No, I'm looking at you and I'm marveling at the happiness that you're exhibiting right now.
Because I've just been told of something awesome. Ati mko na broke mode.
Ulikuwa na stress na hatukujua.
Kumbe nimekuwa nikiumia hapa na kuna options. Okay, so we have a question here. Sonet amesema, how easy is it to cancel those scheduled payments? Hiyo tumeambiwa. So Sonet, pia wewe umekuanga na shida na ujui. But the same customer, or rather listener, is saying, I found KCB mobile banking to be tedious and confusing. I suppose it depends on the individual. Finally, so I mean, surely is it? You've just told us that your society it's no longer there. It's no longer tedious and confusing. Ukifungua TV unajipata uko mahali ulikuwa unafaa kukua. Yeah. And you're saying the user interface is now revamped.
How do you get this app? Remember, you're talking to someone whose entire thinking is primarily analog. Okay? And I'm not alone on this planet. Tuko wengi. How do you apply for this app? Because all these wonderful things it has, surely.
Okay, let me answer the two questions within the same breath.
Yeah.
So I don't know. City, where do you shop? Which supermarket do you go to?
No, I'm trying to think of the name. There's one, I'm told it's pronounced Carrefour, lakini anaandika jina yake ni Carrefour.
Carrefour.
Okay? Yeah, that one. Then there's another one called Quickmart. Yes.
Now, you'll find from a consumer behavior perspective, you go to the same Carrefour, the same Quickmart, over and over again. And you know, from a consumer behavior perspective, the reason you do that is actually because you know where things are. You know where things are.
True.
You know how you're going to pick your items. Yes. And what you don't remember is your first interaction with that particular Quickmart and how tedious it was. And now, or that Carrefour. And the reason you keep on going back is because now you've found how things lie and where things are. If you're to go to a different branch, let's say Waterfront, for example, and you find things are not where you're used to, you start getting frustration points, right? So it's the same thing as the digital offerings that we give our customers. At the first instance, it may look confusing. It may be quite an uphill task for you to be able to set things up. Then as you warm up towards the app, as you warm up towards the idea, you start learning on what the app has to offer. You start finding your footing on the navigation and everything. It's not supposed to take a lot of time. It will be a shift of mindset from the previous app to the new one. But once you start learning it and start enjoying the service, then you'll start seeing the convenience of that particular offering to yourself as a customer, and you're able to see how much more value it can bring to your life and convenience and experience. Yeah. So and it's the same thing that happens. There's still people up to today, they cannot drive on Thika Road, for example. They remember the old Thika Road. You remember the one that used to have the Fox Drive-in to the right. They remember that. And with the new one, they actually get jitters in driving on that road.
You know how confusing that Thika Road is?
Yes.
You make a wrong turn.
My
And suddenly
friend.
you were heading towards Nyeri. Suddenly you are in Kiambu County.
Oh yeah.
And you had no plans to be in Kiambu County.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ndio maana unafaa kujua hiyo barabara. But like he said, a few times you might get confused initially, but after that you get used to it.
No, there's a simpler solution. Get a driver who knows these things.
Yeah. So that's
and I think that is what Mr. Matthew here is trying to tell us, that this app is that driver. Yes. If once you get, he knows that the way he will help you, it will help you navigate. You haven't told me how to apply for this app.
How to apply for the app? Okay.
Yes.
So
sio kutuma barua na post office number.
Tulitoka mambo ya barua kitambo. Today, for you to access the app, all you need to do is go to your Play Store, go to the App Store, go to the app gallery, search for KCB Mobile. Yeah, you will see the new KCB Mobile there. Select it, download. That's the first step for you to engage. You'll be able to see the offerings that we have. We'll take you through a seamless journey of getting started. Once you complete on all this cell phone boarding journey, then when you come now onto the app, we'll even walk you through. We have an app walkthrough. Yeah. At the very first point as you download the app, we have an app walkthrough that actually takes you through the various features and where to find various things. Hey, you're looking for your balance right now. Where is it? You're able to see it. You don't need to now move across apps to do your various, let me say, transactions. If you need to do a deposit, you can do that from within the app. We have a very bright deposit button there, which once you tap in, enter the amount you want to deposit. If you're depositing from mobile money, does an SDK push, and voila, funds are right within your reach. You're able to see them, that this is where the funds have come from. So we have really made it simple for our consumers, and we are continuously doing the engagement for the consumers in terms of literacy for within the app, how to use the different features, because it's quite packed with a lot of features, and we are continuously educating our customers. We have one of the highest feature requests that we got was something called dark mode. Yeah, because a lot of customers have this switch that they do on their phone where they move between light mode and dark mode, which number one reduces strain on the eyes. They're able to use the app very easier, reduces the curious onlookers who are trying to see what you're doing within the app or what. We have a dark mode for the KCV app. So if you want to switch into a dark mode for your convenience, you're able to do that. So there's a lot of features that we've actually released within this particular version of the app, and we're not stopping there. It's a continuous program which every so often you'll be seeing new features being released that excite both us internally as KCB colleagues and staff, and even our customers. They end up discovering something which now really works for them, and they're like, this is what I've been asking for the past 5 years. Like I told you, 5 years is a long time. This is what I've been asking for the past 5 years. And we'd want you to switch from, I don't know which bank, don't mention it. But I'd want you to switch to KCB and start seeing what we're able to offer you as a customer. Yes.
You know, these guys were the first people I ever banked with in my life. In those days, they had a very interesting facility.
Right.
I was a school teacher, secondary school teacher.
Yeah.
Once your salary had kicked into the account a number of times, I think 2 or 3 months, you would be told, by the way, we offer you a facility. You didn't ask of the entirety of your pay, and you can pay over this period of time. They are the ones who told you.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I remember when I was first told, I said, what again? But then the salary wasn't an enormous amount, by the way. The year was in the previous century.
Yeah.
And but that was the experience. It was like, I didn't even understand that concept, but they introduced me to that concept those many years ago.
Yeah.
When I was 23 years old.
Good stuff. And now here we are.
So yeah, you can imagine even right now, still within the app, we have that KCB salary advance. Yeah, the facility you're talking about is salary advance.
Yeah, that one.
Salary advance, yes, correct. So we have brought that convenience to you on the phone. You don't need to struggle too much if you've reach that corner ya Mwezi, you're able to access. So City, like I told you, we're offering a lot more services for our customers at that particular point of convenience.
Nyaboke says, hey, this guy knows his stuff. Before atoke aseme ticket number C0765. Please proceed to counter number 6. Aya, kuna mtu anauliza overdraft facility hii mna charge pesa ngapi?
Overdraft facility, that is in the works. I cannot comment on it now, but it's something that we are planning to also avail in the platform. Like I told you,
think they were talking about that broke mode thing.
Yes, or the broke mode. The broke mode, that's KCB mobile loan, and the range depends on the tenure that you actually select. But I'd encourage them to download the application and go through, because that is what is going to make the actual difference. It's very important, because what CT was saying was, where do I apply? Don't apply. Just go download
the app.
Start onboarding.
Sio the application.
And
sasa unajua utanipatia 1000 nikuoneshe hiyo process
But 1000 ilifanya na nini?
Nikuoneshe hiyo process ya kudownload. Alafu I'll even set it up for you. I'll even, if you want me to put money into the account for you, of course the money you will give me, I put it in the account for you there. Now I show you how to use withdraw nini. Yeah.
And all these things you want to do when I'm still alive.
Kevin Matthews Okeo, thank you so much for coming. That's all the time we had today. But it's been an interesting and lively conversation. And we appreciate you taking your time to, come and break down for us all those things that you've mentioned within the app. That is the Senior Manager Digital Experience at the Digital Finance Services, Kenya Commercial Bank. This is where we say kwaheri for now. We shall see you again tomorrow bright and early. Siti, ambia wa Kenya kwaheri.
Kwaherini.
All right. See you tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. A section of Moi University medical students